Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C. 8MML843 7BBP929. It is August 22nd. It is currently 8:25 a.m. This is the P.O.C. Documentation of third-party group stalkers acting with the state. 7YJC222 396YS, that's a handicap, 57280S2 8PXC714, and this is G302AN, and that's an out-of-state license plate. They are patrolling via traffic light activity through their vehicles, and the state is amplifying audible activity. The state is continuously stalking and terrorizing in concert with them by a helicopter. I just came from the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. Ontario Police stalking visually, because they are always stalking relevant position and always stalking with audible activity using their sirens. And so while I'm at the crosswalk, this is also the intentional communication of a threat intended to terrorize. The same agency engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping. And at the at the crosswalk where I am at, that would be Hope Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. And the state engaging in, as I captured in video and on my podcast, and as I have captured hundreds of times already, establishing that ongoing stalking by the state. This morning again, 6NGN845, the state sounding helicopter activity flying right over me at the museum this morning as I'm packing up my belongings. Not just this morning as I'm packing up my belongings all night, but I just want to speak to the immediacy of this conduct. The state is stalking by a helicopter, and you have Ontario police. This is the state, all right, acting together to engage in ongoing terrorism. And I did document that license plate. You can see that white officer's face on video. And I also recited the license plates of those third parties acting in concert because they're one entity. Third parties and the state proper acting together to monitor and to terrorize. All right, that's P.O.C. License plate 5BPL470 at the Ontario Town Square, which is armed with surveillance cameras at 224 North Euclid Avenue at 8:27 a.m. The Wells Fargo surveillance cameras. This is speaking to what is ongoing relevant positioning. This is group stalking conduct. The traffic, the license plates that I'm reading, they're engaged in group stalking. 6FWV239, 8HMC150, 5SGL073, GBC, Graffiti Protective Group, or whatever that is, 50875K1, using that commercial vehicle to engage in federal stalking. 8NTZ647. And this is at the intersection of C Street and Euclid Avenue. (6HRM977) 6RWC901. This heavy-set female with yellow shirt on and blue jean shorts with her hair back in a bun and short bangs should be on the cameras of Wells Fargo. She's engaged in federal stalking, acting with 6PAJ422, 8UOP693. Omnitrans is in relevant position on Euclid Avenue, headed north right now. It is 8:28 a.m. License 39663U1. 7D35244. 8WBU359. 5GGF 567. Handicap plate FF77. 8EDU965. License plate 8RNU173, 7LDV338. (8P21167). 8C60538. Walk out to the license plate this group stalker is walking out to. 8P2. Oh, I already read his plate. That's fine. It's 8:30 a.m. (7CLT948). 4ZDH782. R265XO. 7EYM613. 7YAK312. 8146X handicap. 8NGM705. That was 8NGM. Okay. 7BNJ187. 7VO4614. 7UYY155. 5JQF504. 8CZU388. 7KVE902. This is Walmart. We've already got their venues, and they're using vehicles with that brand on it and that is going to be assigned to that company. The third parties driving that vehicle with that brand on it is engaged in federal stalking. It is license plate 7HC301. 7HCC301, and if there's any doubt, which there should not be, that's a state amplifying plane activity. 5GVJ378. And here's a group stalker coming right in front of me with lights on, 22135M2. 2 Latino males, while the state is amplifying plane activity. All right? Just like the state is doing at the museum, amplifying helicopter activity while they're stalking. That license plate, they are directly engaging, and they're giving an example of what is terrorism by the people, and that's what they'll be prosecuted as, in addition to being sex offenders, et cetera, et cetera. That's terrorism. That's how they act together. 8HZF829. And let me read that license plate again. That's simultaneity of action, 22135M2. And the heavyset female walks out, and she's going to U.S. Bank. Okay, while they're sitting with light activity on the vehicle. That is license plate 5MBX505, 6GDS869, 6MBF484. All right, so her identity will also be on the U.S. Bank cameras as she gets out of that vehicle that she may or may not even have any place in. This is how third parties act together. That really does not matter. U.S. Bank is located at 333 Euclid Avenue. License plate 81580G1. All right, I did just capture video of that too because I want you to see the group stalker that jumps out of that vehicle engaged in terrorism. 7LCU310. 3Y9628. I can't really see that whole one. 5LBT260, 7VGG281, stalking with light as I come toward the corner, headlights on. That's stalking with light. 5ANV057. That's criminal facilitation. All of these group stalkers, 7ROS912, monitoring to this light activity. 6ETX304, and the group stalker engaging in terrorism that I documented sitting with their brake lights on. This is surrounding with light. This is how the people engage in stalking with light, conduct and its demonic activity. All right, that's what they're doing right now behind me with the truck, the license plate that I documented, and this in front of me with the headlights to the side while they are patrolling around. Lights on their vehicles. All right, and the state is amplifying audible activities such as plane and helicopter activity. 71485G3, 6LND574, 8WSP 561, 71485G3, 8TOF750, LJY310. It's 8:35 a.m. 70917E3. This is Gloria's Cochina at 401 Euclid Avenue. That is audible activity, and the state is monitoring to that. 6MAL051. They're monitoring at Gloria's Cochina. 70917E3. 7KMB401 is monitoring me to this bad tasting music. It's audible activity, okay? That is the same vehicle again, 50875K1. Monitoring as I was walking up the street. He's driving back down the opposite way. That's called patrolling. He's engaged in multiple acts of documented stalking conduct. 7EVA581. It's 8:36 a.m. License plate, light activity using the turning signal, stops right here in front of me, 6ZQA378. 8AER045. Yeah, 6ZQA378. The turn signal is a means of creating light activity.
All right, license plate 8TXZ763. I believe I read that one already. And I want to make sure that I clarify, which I already have, but I'm just reiterating because as I'm gathering those who are going to be prosecuted, catching a plethora of federal charges, of which they are not prepared and probably don't even understand. 8UDL 466 35. Let me see, that's 3522. Hold on. 35022M1 7JZ117. Substantially similar. Can we see that one? 8D4202. 8D40202. Excuse me. There is no separation. For example, federal stalking is an ongoing sex offense. It's an ongoing crime. 8NMJ027. It doesn't stop. Okay. The state is engaged in federal stalking that I am now documenting. The state has been engaged in this ceaseless crime for years. I am now documenting it, 7UIR499, for more than one reason. And I want to be clear, so we're just going to, that's the big picture, okay? So for example, there is no separation from the third party that I just recited right now, took video of, recited their license plate. There's no separation from what the state was doing last. They're one entity. The Ontario Police Department, stalking at the stoplight, is not separate from the state that was flying around in a circle over me with simultaneity to what I was doing on my phone as I was documenting YouTube. YouTube is a part of the same conduct. Okay, they are part of the same entity that was stalking by helicopter last night, flying in a circle like a demon-possessed psychopath, engaged in terrorism. 49491X2. There is no separation, and that's my point. Okay, so the same kidnapping conduct, they are the same entity. I am gathering more names that are engaging in this ongoing crime. There is no separation from that ongoing criminal act. That's what I want to make sure that I clarify. There is no separation. I identify a specific actor, but they are the same group. When one sex offender tries to run away, I already have long documentation of the sex offender. Okay, they're acting together. So nobody is escaping anything. And that is also ongoing criminal obstruction of justice. All right, that is the pattern of conduct. I am at 507 Euclid Avenue. It's 8:39 a.m. That is P.O.C.
All right, it is ongoing documentation as I remain at third-party facilitating venue Starbucks located at 507 Euclid Avenue in the city of Ontario. And just with regard to, just like I showed in video, and I specifically pointed that out on purpose, the state is engaged in ongoing stalking with light and monitoring, and so inherent to that crime, ongoing knowledge of what is being documented about its criminal activity, abysmally failing at concealing what is an a well-established pattern of stalking with light. Nevertheless, you are looking at the state's pattern of criminal obstruction of justice as they are engaging in ongoing manipulation of the environment, and this is why you're seeing what is a quote-unquote cloudy sky. This is after already documenting the state from the beginning of the day till the end of the day, stalking with its light source. And so as this documentation accumulates, the state engages in seeking to conceal its light source, which remains directly over my head, remains over the address where I am located for the duration of a day. And then as I travel anywhere, remaining literally over me. So like I showed, today is the 22nd, and I do remain at the Starbucks at 507. Euclid Avenue, which is north of, for example, where I am at the same time, where I have documented remaining for the duration of the day, where I documented even last night or yesterday evening, August 21st, at 6 p.m. as I'm exiting the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, and the state's light source is right there, standing right here over me, aiming light, my shadow at a distance underneath the walkway on the side of the library. I mean, this is in every way impossible light activity, but what you're also paying attention is the state's light source as it is remaining at this location, and the totality of the documentation everywhere. For example, August 17th, being over the Ontario Police Department, and even here, and I'm just pointing out the Ontario Police Department as an example everywhere that I was traveling on August 17th. Morning into the evening, all right? And then you have the state remaining for the duration of a day over the same exact address, which is long documentation that has already established, right? So there is no contradicting, there is no getting out of that established pattern. The state is engaging in what is revealing a psychopath. This is the pattern of conduct. This is the demonic behavioral pattern of the entity. The people of the state of California are hand in glove with the same psychopathic pattern of conduct, stalking with light, all right, and the methods available to them. All right, so you have what is stalking with light as I'm here at 507 Euclid Avenue, and as I step outside, and you will see this on video at 11:56 a.m. and the state's light source is directly above my head as I am capturing what is none other than just one third-party actor that is monitoring with a young child on the surveillance cameras at this venue, and the state's light source is directly over my head as I stand at the sidewalk capturing this documentation. And again, the state's light source is north of Euclid Avenue. In no way, I mean, we can go down the line. I have remained at the same exact time at Holt Boulevard and Euclid after leaving the museum, and the state's fake sun remains over my head at that intersection of Holt, which I'm facing in this video today at 11:56 a.m. I'm looking toward this intersection. State's fake sun is not over that intersection. It's directly above my head as I'm pointing my camera up, all right? The state's fake sun over Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt at the same time remains over my head as I travel west down Holt Boulevard to get to those venues at that direction. The state's light source remaining over the museum as I am at the same time have remained at the museum, all right, 11:56 a.m. even before this time. All right, and so you have the state's fake sun, which is directly over the Ontario Ovitt Family and Community Library, where the state is aiming directed light through the roof over the elevator of this venue, which is directed light. That wouldn't even occur if the sun was actually above 215 East C Street, the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. That is directed light, that's concentrated light, and the state's light source documented remaining over that building, remaining as I exit that building over the entrance of the shaded walkway in front of that entrance. I'm facing that direction. The state's light source is not even in that direction. It is directly above my head. So as I walk south, and I go toward that venue, that is where the state's fake sun travels south to remain directly above me and would be captured at that vantage point over the roof, over the walkway, the entrance of that venue, all right? So you are looking at, as I have already shown, I am just connecting all the dots because you're looking at what is ongoing documentation pointing directly at the people of the state of California. And this is terrorism, all right? This is domestic terrorism by that entity that's engaged in obsessive level stalking of a psychopath. And this is unprecedented. This is never contemplated by legislation. This is revealing what is federal stalking, but it is revealing what is translated. It's demonic activity, but this is translating as far as prosecution goes. This is domestic terrorism of an American citizen while the government is monitoring, all right? And engaging in multiple acts of kidnapping, doing so at any venue, all right? So that is all. As I go from place to place, I'm documenting what are venues facilitating this state's acts of terrorism, all right? As its light source remains over each venue and travels remaining above me as I go from each venue, state facilitating venue or third party facilitating venue. All right, so you have at 12:23 p.m. the state's light source remaining over here at 507 North Euclid Avenue, and the city of Ontario on the opposite side of and north of what is the venue where I am at the same time just yesterday, as I've shown in videos. And not only that, I mean, again, I'm just giving you an example. This same time of year, you have the state's fake sun, August 14th. This is the same time of year. The state's fake sun is over 1333 North Mountain Avenue over the Walmart. The state's fake sun is directly over me at Lawn and Garden. The state is flying over my head in a circle in a helicopter. The state's fake sun remains for the duration of a day over that building, over the Walmart. It did not go anywhere, and this is until 6 p.m., after 6 p.m., all right? You're looking at the fact that the state's fake sun over Mayfair Inn, the state's fake over my room at Mayfair Inn, over the room at Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, all right? This is well beyond this location, remaining at this address, over the parking lot, over my room, all right? So this is the big picture. This is what you're looking at. This is speaking to the prosecution of the people that are engaging in what is demonic conduct, and this is translating as to what is domestic terrorism of an American citizen, engaging in this ongoing criminal activity, which is entirely demented. While the same entity engaging in multiple acts of kidnapping, seeking to conceal that criminal activity, and this is the ongoing documentation of that entity in no way separate from what I just documented this morning in video. The Ontario Police Department engaging in federal stalking. That is not disconnected from this light source that I am documenting right now over my head in an entirely impossible location yet again, all right? This is connected to the states flying in a circle over the Ontario Museum Library just last night and again today, amplifying audible activity. And then as I walk, the ongoing documentation of that, this is an ongoing criminal act, and this is just thorough documentation exposing that. Serving for a very specific and tailored prosecution. It is currently 12:25 p.m. and that is the P.O.C. All right, it is currently 1:12 p.m. And this is just ongoing observation of the pattern of conduct at Starbucks, third-party facilitating venue at 507 Euclid Avenue, and ongoing impossible light activity flashing inside of the venue, that which I've already documented, and that which I also documented as recent as 646 West Hope Boulevard at Stater Brothers. While I am there, and the state's fake sun is to the, which would be to the right of the entrance doors, after I've documented it remaining directly over my head at those same entrance doors of that venue at multiple times of the day, which is also mutually exclusive to where it is right now, which is directly over this venue. Anyway, you have what is the ongoing hallmark, which is flashing of light, directed light, impossible light activity, and this is the pattern of conduct. If you want a visual, I could just give, I mean, it's already published, but if you want an example, what I published inside of T-Mobile, which is at the corner of Euclid Avenue and Hope Boulevard, and I captured on video while I was inside making a purchase at that venue, and you see flashing light at the top of the wall inside of that venue where the state's fake sun is to the right, above, absolutely impossible light activity, under no circumstances ever occurring. This is the hallmark. This is also speaking to what is demonic, and that is translating into what is terrorism. So I just want to speak to what is that, this ongoing pattern of conduct, and it is occurring while I'm here, and they're monitoring what I'm doing on my phone, and this is where also the fake sun is also not coincidentally present above the venue, okay? And the state's fake sun is also no explanation for this ongoing impossible light activity. So with regard to the state's light source, which is the fake sun, it's a light source, all right? The state's light source is not looked at in isolation, all right? You're also looking at what is the state's conduct with its directed light everywhere. The state aims light in multiple directions. This is not just the fake sun that remains over my head. This is coinciding with the directed light activity. This is coincided with the use of the light with simultaneity to what I'm doing, all right? So you're also talking about that stalking with light conduct, all right? And this is also coinciding with, for example, the multiple shadows. These are all methods of light activity, which coincides with the state's light source. All right, so I just want to be clear, the whole big picture and everything that I'm showing what the state is doing, which is, again, stalking with light, all right? Showing how the entire environment is conducive to ongoing monitoring, speaking to what is revealing demonic activity, and also speaking to what the people of the state are actually focused on as they are engaging in what is showing what are psychopaths, the absence of any normalcy, and the entirety of the environment is showing how they are focused on you, and that's why the environment exists. All right, and so I just want to speak to, again, that is the flashing of light. This is directed light as third parties are patrolling in traffic, north and south on Euclid Avenue, and as they are patrolling inside of the venue and engaging in ongoing monitoring. It's 1:15 p.m. and that's P.O.C.
7YOF 581, 8FTM 357. 8VBL 682. All right, I want to speak to what is ongoing, what you're analyzing, how they engage in the audible activity. You hear that roaring of an engine. First of all, that's amplification. Under what is that which is not the actual sun? That's terrorism, okay? DDSBOYS. 37574C3 decided to wait, using their vehicle as a means of light. They're stalking with light while the state's fake sun remains over my head as I'm walking now south on Euclid Avenue, and the state's fake sun is no longer over the roof of Starbucks, right? It's over my head as I'm proceeding south toward the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. That is stalking conduct, while the state is also demonstrating aggression as it's engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. 7YWW 622. 8FCY 652. 8TXS 793. 7EMY 328, 8HBM 724, 7EVJ 145, 7Z, oh, I can't really see that one, scrunch that, JCSON. It's 1:26 p.m. Alrighty. So this is Gloria's Cochina. They are all monitoring while they're feeding their faces. The fake sun is over this restaurant. Alrighty, that's audible activity under the fake sun. And by the way, while they're sitting at their tables feasting, they're all using their communication devices. This is monitoring on the run, just like traffic on the run. As I'm in motion walking, state's fake sun remains over me. This is how the people systematically monitor, and it's demon possession made manifest before your eyes. Psychopaths. Ready? So let me give you a visual. It's 1:27 p.m. 7GIV 463 43014C2 8KGH 220 8KLU 621 79419X2 8WYV 441 7HAK 284 6N79294 5HQK 427 7SCB 474, that's Amtrak. 7PXB 316, meaning Amtrak is supposedly that train activity. That's what you're hearing. That's the state amplifying and creating artificial noise. I am at the intersection of C Street and Euclid Avenue. BR68K08, that's a paper plate. All right, and you have what is impossible light activity appearing on the shaded storefronts as they are driving south on Euclid Avenue. This is a communication of hostility. This is the demonic behavioral pattern, as the people of the state are aware that they're being documented. All right, and this is the speaking to what is terrorism by the people acting in concert with that public entity. License plate 8DMJ 473. License plate 7XBA 555, license 8END 217, license 7JQA 755, 6XEH 241, 1WO 5504, 26314P2, 6ARK 141. It is currently 4:12 p.m. That's Amtrak engaged in terrorism. Long documentation of that state actor, by the way. Amtrak is not a third-party actor. Amtrak represents the state. That's state actor engaged in a long-term documented terrorism of an American citizen, sexual violence as they engage in creating activity, and also providing the guise under which the state creates artificial activity sounding as a train while I am constantly molested with light. That is, Amtrak is a sex offender, another legal concept, all right, to be appreciated under federal policy. It is currently 4:13 p.m. and that is the P.O.C. $5DBE 790. $7LXN 784 9214 OH2 7HCG 147 8H89779. Sitting in the red, illegally parked, U.S. Bank as their form, which doesn't exist under federal policy. License 8RHX 392 7AV1. Oh, you can scratch that, I can't see that one. 8TSG 512. Impossible light activity as they're patrolling. 4FWB 631 6MHZ 557. Terrorism and sexual violence they're touching with the state. $7UJE 698. All right, you'll see in my videos the impossible light activity as third parties patrol in the state's under the state's fake sun, which is no reflection of light. This is directed light as they are patrolling as one entity. This is the connection of every single last actor in relevant position. All right, and it's demonic. 8GTH 173. 5ULW 252, and that's what they're demonstrating right now again as they're driving south past me on the sidewalk. Lines of light, as I have shown in tons of videos, lines of light across the sidewalk in the shade, reaching up the heights of the building. P.O.C. Gloria es cochina. They're monitoring. That's amplified plane activity while these psychopaths are feeding their faces and monitoring. That's P.O.C. That's Amazon Prime. Again, migrating to fly closer to me. So as I have walked what is north of Euclid Avenue, now flying over that same location that I just captured at C Street, now flying right here at U.S. Bank over D Street. Moving up as I'm moving, stalking in a plane, that's Amazon Prime, a terrorist, and a sex offender. 8MQZ 836. 7SCJ 940. 7WKK 995, 6XFP 595, 7WNL 363, 8NRZ 535, 8RDN 877, 7PXC 617, 8PVH 161, 7XZG 873. Terrorists acting with Amazon Prime, okay? Terrorists, because that's what it is. And let me show you what's over Gloria's Cochina right now. DFW 409, 8CRN 569, 8BZF 428. Impossible Light as they're patrolling past south on Euclid Avenue, 8G32 932. 7MFN 407, Papa John's 7TCZ 376. Papa John's, the company, can be assigned with that. They're monitoring under the same fake sun and impossible light that is scraping all across in the shade onto the sidewalk. I've already documented that. That's exactly what these demons are doing right now. And understand that that's not a coincidence also while I'm revealing the fact that they are demon possessed. They know exactly what I'm saying. 7MCF 294. 7GMG 798. That's audible activity, all right? This is 14046V2. That's P.O.C. Impossible light sweeping across the front of what is the optometrist located at 417 Euclid Avenue. Driving south on Euclid Avenue, even under the fake sun, does not result in light, a large beam of light scraping vertically across the storefront. All right, that is impossible light activity. That impossible light activity is speaking to what is demonic. It's P.O.C. It is currently 4:21 p.m. 71807R1, 6JPM 087. Group stalking sitting in the car while impossible light activity shining across her face and on the sidewalk in the shade. 7KAK250. This Caucasian white female is a psychopath monitoring with a minor child in the car. License 24178D2. All right, she's sitting inside of a vehicle in the shade, and her face lit up with light because the state is aiming impossible light and it's touching her face. Hertz, which Amazon Prime likes to drive Hertz vehicles, crossing path right now under the fake sun, which is up here at, again, over here at Starbucks at 507 Euclid Avenue. License plate 798ZP, that's a handicap. License plate 7HLS533, 7CSL158, 8HNA 726, 5TEZ412, 8PQK440. Ontario Fire Department monitoring with that third party sitting at the stoplight. All right, that's exactly what the Ontario police were doing. Group stalking at a stoplight. P.O.C. license for U.S.D 931. Stalking with the fire department, 8TOR 375, BSDNA 77, 8RVE 706, 8UWZ 160. All right, that's terrorism by the Ontario Fire Department that I just captured in video. All right, not only is the fake sun directly over them while they're standing around acting like they're just chilling, all right, they're stalking, and the ongoing impossible light that I captured right in front of me while the fake sun is right over me. By the way, since this morning at 11, it was before that, but I just happened to step outside and catch a video of it because I wanted to get the extra thirsty stalker who was monitoring at Starbucks with a minor child. All right, and then as I capture this at 11, what do you have? The state's fake sun as I just captured in video right here. I'm standing at the intersection of East Street and Euclid Avenue where the fake sun is. Okay, so let me give you an example of what the state is doing. As I captured at Walmart, the state's fake sun didn't go anywhere. It just tried to create shade in front of the building while I stayed over this exact same building all day long. August 2020, take a good look at that. It's 4:26 p.m. Alrighty, as I have vividly captured yet again in video so that you can witness it with your own eyes, as a trained legal professional, I already know, and I know very, very well, that it is not what you know, it is what you can prove. And secondly, something as, and I'm going to make up a word because there are not words that can adequately describe what I am making known, all right? What you would otherwise, the ordinary onlooker would have no idea what is actually occurring, that you can't visibly see. And so by the outward conduct, I am making that which is invisible to your eyes visible, all right? This fantastical conduct is captured in video yet again, and this is exactly why I have been repeatedly kidnapped by the state. And it is telling the secrets of a government. It is telling the secrets of a people. And when I say demon possession, I am not being hyperbolic. This is the ability to discern that which you cannot physically see on a person. And the environment is directly indicative of that. In addition, you're going to pay attention to the documentation as I go from the library and I walk back up toward Starbucks at 507, not the one that's on Hope Boulevard. I'm at a different Starbucks. I've identified that it's 507 Euclid Avenue. You will notice there is more and more. Understand, directed light is always present. The state is always molesting with light. Light is always being aimed in multiple directions. But you will see an increase in what is this directed light across the buildings as the people of the state are continuously patrolling up and down Euclid Avenue. Understand, this is, as spiritually speaking, this is demonic hostility, as they are very, very enraged at what they are fully aware of that I am exposing in video. The same hostility is demonstrated by the presence of the fire department. The same hostility is demonstrated by the stalking conduct by Amazon Prime over in airplanes, as they are literally following in a plane, migrating north as I'm walking north up the street, and the fake sun is staying over my head. So you're going to look at the environment. The environment is speaking to the aggression. The environment is speaking to the hostility, as you will see more and more of this impossible light that is never occurring naturally. Understand, impossible is literally a synonym for demonic, all right? It's impossible because it's not naturally happening. It's unnatural. It's in a natural environment because it's a demonic environment. This demonic environment is speaking directly to those who are surrounding, who no longer have a secret as to what their issue is, okay? It's demonic, all right? And they are engaged in targeting an American citizen who is not of that breed, all right? And so I am speaking to what is the revelation of satanic activity by government and acting in concert with the people of the state. It's an entirely malicious system, and you will recognize this. You will see it in the video, the impossible light, the state's presence, which is shown by the light source, over the same exact building that I captured over at 11 in the morning, okay? And then documented remaining over my head as I go toward the library, and remaining over my head as I walk back to the same address. And that is just the window. The ongoing documentation of the state stalking conduct with the same light source when I am in an entirely different area and location, including Los Angeles County, okay? All right? This is including Riverside County, all right? This is the revealing of that which is a concession when you're looking at the environment. That impossible light activity, that's terrorism. That fake sun, that's terrorism. That amplification and artificial activity, that's terrorism of an American citizen. That is documenting the criminal activity of a government that's monitoring them through the people of the state. The current state is the people of the state of California, who are all engaging in terrorism in concert with that government. That aggression, that unnatural environment, that engagement, continuous engagement in those criminal elements, that is domestic terrorism. That is conduct that is incredibly threatening, posed by a government, vicariously by the people of the state, with the unlawful intent to terrorize. This is an unprecedented threat, and it is by an entity demonstrating an ongoing willingness to threaten your life, to kidnap, to sexually violate, etc., etc., etc. This is terrorism, all right? And that's what that is going toward. And I just want to speak as an aside, it is literally a concession where the state engaged in providing yet another show of a carnival of lights, just like I described. It's as though I describe it and then the state provides it for you to see. Understand that that's demonic, okay? I am speaking to that which you cannot see, and as I speak to what is the reality of their situation, of their issues, all right, they literally engage in it. It's not because I am, I'm clearly not doctoring anything. You're getting the raw footage. It's happening moment by moment. This is real-time documentation, and this is that which is satanic, and they cannot understand, they can't help themselves. By they, I mean the satanic entity that is operating over a people and over a government, and that legal analysis, it is analogous, legally speaking, the government which is acting vicariously through the people. All right, I am providing what is relevant context as to the legal issue and what is actually a spiritual issue, an issue of darkness. The fire department and the Ontario Police Department, the demon-possessed actors, are patrolling up Euclid Avenue in concert with the people under the fake sun, sounding sirens, and this is the demonic expression of hostility. Okay, it is currently 4:49 p.m. Both of those actors engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping and are aware of every word that I'm uttering as I utter it, spilling the secrets of an entity. All right, and so I was released from kidnapping by this entity on August 16, 2021, and this is why I have been repeatedly subject to that egregious criminal conduct, while they have been, they meaning the entity, engaged in an unfounded and unprecedented level of stalking, because they are monitoring with communication device, and I understand that that is just the starting. That's the starting point of prosecuting an entity engaging in this unprecedented level of criminal conduct in concert with a people who are in the shoes of the government, where they're monitoring with the state, facilitating the public entity's ability to monitor an American citizen. As I remain inside of the Starbucks, you have impossible light that is moving on both sides of the wall inside of the venue. So both, and they're on surveillance camera inside of the venue while they're acting as though they're just doing their job and walking around and drinking coffee and just chit-chatting and going back and forth to the bathroom, while the same carnival of lights is occurring inside, both on the side facing the wall, which would be facing Euclid Avenue, and on the opposite side of the wall, which is right by me where the couch is located. This is a demonic environment, the same hostility. This is, by the way, how demons conduct themselves, all right? It is entirely that which is malicious. And while they are trying to maintain what is a secret, the fact that you cannot see demon possession on one, you can recognize it by the conduct, and you can also identify it by the environment. And this is, again, speaking to what is ongoing while I remain inside of this venue. And this is the ongoing bars of light moving inside along the walls, on both walls, both sides, while I'm inside of the venue. While, by the way, the Ontario Police Department is migrating up north of Euclid Avenue with the fire department behind them, and the Ontario Fire Department that I captured on the opposite side, on the corner of where the Starbucks is located, stalking, sitting under the fake sun, while I am crossing the street, walking towards the same venue. Okay, that's P.O.C. And I just want to be clear: this is what you will witness for yourself. I have already established this. This is yet another day of spilling what are the secrets. This is providing context as to why the Ontario Police Department, these are demon-possessed actors as I encounter them, and they act as the psychopaths that I know that they are. They are engaging in a state system that is seeking to conceal this reality. And the core, at the end of the day, the core cause, the bottom line, the reason why, okay? I'm not only answering the question as to what is federal stalking, why demon possession? All right, this is founded upon that which is satanic. All right, and so whether or not you recognize that, accept that, you can see the environment for yourself. You can attribute that to whatever you want, but it's going to be translated as terrorism. All right, and so you've got the Ontario Fire Department again in a battalion vehicle, lights on the vehicle, patrolling up and down the street. Patrolling specifically crossing path under the fake sun, which is remaining over the same building right now, as I showed in video. This is crossing path right now while you see the Starbucks employees. They're patrolling in and out of the doorway where the outside area is. They're patrolling in and out, and you've got bars of light that are moving north on the inside of the building, okay? Their shadows are manifesting in this impossible light activity. It's entirely demonic. 4:52 p.m. and that's P.O.C. This is the ongoing concession of those who are entirely hostile to the fact that they are being revealed as the psychopaths they are, which is psychopaths who are sex offenders, psychopaths who are kidnappers, psychopaths who are stalkers, psychopaths who are terrorists. All right, and that's why you have what is literally a concession as this impossible light activity, this bright concentrated light is appearing above the windows on the wall facing Euclid Avenue right now. State's fake sun is over the building, and the state is patrolling via emergency vehicles, police, and fire. That's P.O.C. Alrighty, I've got Sarah, and we've got Jazz. They're all on camera who is here, but I just want to speak to who's engaging in terrorism. Hi, what's your name? Kit? I can't hear you. Ken? Kim, like Kim. Okay, got it, Kim. Kim, and you've got another one that's at the drive-through window, and this is where impossible light activity. Alrighty, I did stop the podcast because I wanted to make sure I got a visual of that. That is punctuating the point. The more you speak to the reality of demon possession, the more that it manifests itself. And so you're looking at what is the ongoing demonstration of demon possession and criminal activity. As far as federal stalking, this is what this light activity is accomplishing. And this is translating into what is terrorism, ongoing awareness of the documentation. And so that was literally impossible light activity on the ceiling above the drive-through window, where as I was sitting over in my seat and I started the video, the state was engaging in aiming light, the same ongoing conduct, onto the ceiling, moving it across the wall opposite, just like I showed. I went up close to it and you could still see it, even though what the state was doing as I was describing it, it was brighter. Just like you saw on the ceiling, that's how bright it was, and it was fuller, right? But it still remained on the wall. That's never happening. That is never naturally happening. This is directed light. Why are you directing light? Because you're monitoring. Why are you stalking with light? Because you're demon possessed, all right? It's satanic, all right? And this is as I'm speaking to who are the employees inside of Starbucks, all of the guests. It's indiscriminate with regard to the actors, and it is speaking to the ongoing demonic environment, which is that which is plaguing the state. You're talking about law officials, you're talking about officers of the court, where the state's fake son, by the way, like I specifically documented, remaining over the vehicle as I am transported around, subject to kidnapping by the sheriff's department. The state's fake son remains over the bus or the van, whatever vehicle I'm in. The state's fake son remains over the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse from 7 a.m. as I'm transported there up until as late as 4:10 p.m. while I am driven back to the West Valley Detention Center, all right, subject to kidnapping. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct while I was kidnapped, engaging in the same exact conduct at third-party facilitating venues, all right, with the state's fake son remaining over those venues, and which is revealing what is demonic activity, all right? And this is at each and every venue, and as I'm speaking to it, the state is providing more and more example of it, and it is indeed a concession. That is light activity that is clearly unnatural, and it is never occurring. Light is not bouncing off of any vehicle onto the ceiling into the depths of the building from the drive-through window. That's what I just showed. You're going to take a look at that. It's fascinating. And you're looking at what did I describe inside of, for example, Motel 6, and the state's aiming its concentrated light, because that's what that is. It's directed light, no ordinary light. I've shown what this light is capable of doing. That's not sunlight, and it's not ordinary. This is the state's engineered light, and it is concentrated, and it is that which is spreading from the opening space of what is the drive-through area on the ceiling to the opposite side of the building, onto the ceiling and that opposite wall. And that was also, again, as I'm describing it, the same bars of light that you see spanning across the ceiling. The state was moving that light horizontally on the wall over the two guests that you see that I'm sitting, my camera is sitting them, they're sitting there at the table. The state is creating multiple bars of these thick bars of light, moving it north up the wall, on that wall, all right? And this opening space where the state is aiming that light through that drive-through area, all right? While they are outwardly conducting themselves as though it is not occurring, and that is the revealing of the psychopath, all right? That is the revealing of what is demonic possession. And that's what you'll see in video, and that's what I captured. I just want to make sure I speak to that. It's 5 p.m. And the state's fake sun remains over 507 Euclid Avenue. And it's that which you can see for yourself. I have already established this point, and it literally, the facts speak for themselves, all right? I just want to be clear with regard to what you're witnessing. This is public corruption. Yes, the state of California is monitoring, and it's doing it in concert with the people, but you are witnessing what's demon possession, all right? And I have had the opportunity to document the same criminal activity and demonic possession, which are psychopaths wearing police uniforms, wearing fire department uniforms, all right, vested with the duty of enforcing the law and the Constitution in the state facilitating venues of the courthouse, specifically the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse, but I've also documented this at the San Bernardino Superior Court. All right, this is P.O.C. and the pattern of conduct underway at the California Court of Appeals, 4th Division, 4th District, 2nd Division, engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. It's not a coincidence. denying the constitutional right of service of process, all right, which is the preclusion of any ability to prosecute a case, that's a denial of a fundamental right to access the courts while federal stalking is underway. You're engaging in that obstruction of justice. It is pursuant to the state's pattern of conduct. That is speaking to the exact same plaguing issue, all right? And you have what is the California Supreme Court engaging in that same pattern of conduct, all right? And so this is documentation of the state, and it is currently 5:02 p.m., and this is ongoing demonic activity at Starbucks located at 507 Euclid Avenue. And you're looking at, again, like I stated, nothing but venues. They're just venues. Venues where you are exposing and witnessing that which is criminal and that which is demonic. That's a P.O.C.
All right, I just want to document, you've seen the light activity, okay? That's indicative alone of the pattern of conduct and manifest demon possession, which is a matter of terrorism as you're monitoring. I just took an image at 5:24 p.m. speaking to what is Starbucks and using your job, the business of the company, to engage in the pattern of conduct. And this third party is using what you're looking at as her outward conduct as a means of stalking with activity with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my phone. All right. That is P.O.C. and that's the significance of the picture that I took. All right. That is the pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. Excuse me. All right, it is still August 22nd, 2021. This ongoing documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring and demonic activity, which is terrorism at Starbucks. This company, this brand, the people of the state, using the business as a means of terrorizing an American citizen and engaging in ongoing group stalking, monitoring communication devices. I took images of where impossible light activity is flashing on the couch seat that I'm sitting on, while you see a group stalker sitting right next to me, acting as though it's not occurring. They are engaging in patrolling, entering and exiting the bathroom, using audible activity to stalk with noise with simultaneity to my operation of my communication device. And then you see a minion walk out and cross path. All right, using the image that I saw, using what is pushing the chairs around, which is amplified noise, dragging of furniture on the floor, while they are stalking with activity with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my communication device. And that's what I took a picture of. They're patrolling in and out of that door. And as you see the employee taking out the trash, she was bending down, stalking with activity, dragging chairs around as I'm navigating on my phone. All right, stalking with activity. That's entirely demonic, and this is monitoring conduct. In addition to that, ongoing sensational activity on this couch that I'm sitting on, ongoing vibratory impact and noise, which is being amplified, sounding as though it's through the wall. Like I've already documented, the state engages in creating artificial noise, amplifying noise that third parties create, such that it would not ordinarily be perceptible. The state is targeting with light, the state is targeting with noise, which is audible activity. And so as I sit inside on this brown leather couch, ongoing vibration of the couch, banging heard through the wall. And I mean, it's ridiculous, it's not funny, but this is monitoring, and understand that this is demonic activity. While they are outwardly looking like they're just getting coffee and sitting around and chit-chatting, they are engaging in ongoing monitoring and stalking with their presence, stalking with the activity that they're engaging in, all right? And while the Carnival of Lights atmosphere is maintained. This is demonic activity, and this is terrorism by Starbucks. It's currently 8:11 p.m., and that is P.O.C. All right, it is 8:28 p.m. I just want to document audible activity creation while I'm inside of the restroom, and I also want to speak to what is posturing by the people inside of Starbucks for purposes of remaining in alignment as they are group stalking in the bathroom. All right, so as I'm sitting on the brown couch, you have the women's bathroom, which has a sign on it saying it's out of order. Understand this is form, such that the people may patrol in and out of the men's restroom, which is in direct alignment to me on the couch where I'm sitting. This is the same exact conduct that I observed with Starbucks at 706 West Holt Boulevard, and it is for purposes of
getting everyone to go to the same place, and this is also serving the state's conduct of stalking with audible activity that they are providing the form for, as the state is stalking with amplified noise, such as the hand dryer that's used with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my phone. And then the form is that they are using the restroom, all right, while this amplified activity is occurring. In addition to that, you have and that's called criminal facilitation by Starbucks, criminal facilitation of sexual violence as well. And I just wanted to document right now at 8:27 p.m. The amplification of just randomness noise. It sounds like dragging like a metal anchor through the ground, just like a deep throaty noise that you're just hearing. It's just noise. It's audible activity, in other words. And it is occurring with regard to the ongoing documented light activity that is ongoing at nightfall as well, all right? And they are monitoring. They actually provided a full-on confirmation of that themselves, which is foolish in my opinion. But anyway, they're monitoring, and this is just speaking to what I am subject to while they're engaged in terrorism, and this is sexual violence while I'm in the private space, whether or not my pants are down. They're monitoring the whole time. So waiting until my panties are up to create audible activity is not different than you're engaging in that same monitoring conduct and listening and surveillance while you're aware that my panties are down. You are still the same sex offender. It is 8:29 p.m. That's P.O.C. at Starbucks. All right, it is still August 22nd, 2021, and so I want to fit this into the P.O.C. For the day, the podcast for the day. As far as my documentation goes, I did briefly leave the Ontario Museum of History and Art in order to go to Woodside Senior Apartments, courtesy of third-party Tracy Banks. And again, I'm subject to ongoing monitoring. I even captured video of the Carnival of Lights that is in relevant position to me as I stood at that intersection and showing the broad distance between me and my shadow as it was appearing vertically on the wall of the brick wall at the intersection of Euclid and Holt. Moving shadows. This is also the ginormous size of my person, the ginormous size of the vehicles. That's magnified light, directed light, and the distance of the vehicles. This is not headlights, this is directed light. And in addition to that, you see the cockroaches in the Ontario police vehicles. They literally are roaches. They even look like it as they scurry around back streets stalking. And so as the state is flying around in helicopter, Ontario police are flying around, driving around in the perimeter. They're engaged in stalking, and the ongoing directed light is present. And I do capture this in video. The fake moon is over the health building as I stand at that intersection. And then I go to Woodside Senior Apartments, and the state is amplifying helicopter activity while I'm at the apartments, which I did capture in video. And as I hold my phone up to capture this helicopter activity, the state's fake moon is clearly seen over the apartment building of Woodside Senior Apartments. And so that is what I captured in video, and I just want to make sure that I'm referencing it on my podcast. And that is also speaking to the fact of sexual violence while I'm subject to it while I'm using the restroom at Woodside Senior Apartments. That is ongoing confirmation of the sexual violence of the entity that is stalking and that is engaging in surveillance and using helicopter activity, just creating helicopter activity, knowing the purpose of going to Woodside Senior Apartments, aware of the telephone call, like they're monitoring everything. And engaging in creating helicopter activity as I'm walking inside of the apartment. These psychopath sex offenders doing just this at the apartments. That's exactly what they were doing. All right, and that's not helicopter activity that I'm going to hear at Woodside Senior Apartments. That was amplified over that apartment building while I was in the parking lot walking from Tracy Banks' vehicle to her car. And right now the state is flying over me at the museum. All right, while the fake moon is in real-time motion to remain over me as I am back at the museum. I have never seen an entity so woefully unprepared for a prosecution. As you see the state engaging in what is ongoing desperate stalking conduct, it is speaking to not only the disturbed and demented state of mind of those who are awaiting to go to federal prison, but it is also speaking to the great danger posed by that public entity that's engaging in this criminal activity. And you have what is an inevitable conclusion. It is inevitable, but I want to speak to the state is engaging in what is an ongoing display of the necessary, absolutely necessary, and let me show you who else is going to federal prison. License plate 8TSY466, terrorizing with the state that's stalking me in a helicopter and with the fake moon. And this stalker comes down the street. He's going to federal prison. He's a sex offender. He's the same entity that's stalking while I'm surrounded. His car has multiple shadows. His car has shadows on both sides of his vehicle. That's a psychopath. That's terrorism. And that's a sex offender. That's P.O.C. Say something else. Say something else. Say something. Say something. That's audible activity while he's stalking on the side of the Ontario Museum. ATSY 466. Also on the traffic cameras, that's a heavy-set white male stalking down the side street of the museum. His car has shadows on both sides of it, okay? A shadow on both sides of his car. That is speaking to directed light. While he's acting ignorant, oh, what are you saying? Oh, are you talking to me? He knows it's audible activity. And he is terrorizing with the state that is stalking. Clearly, I just showed in 10 minutes the state is stalking with a helicopter, let alone my years of documentation of stalking by helicopter. I just showed it in 10 minutes. State flying over me, the state stalking by Ontario police, the state stalking with light, and then he is driving by. That is not coincidental. That's the entity acting together, and that is an act of terrorism. His question of, are you talking to me, is called audible activity. All right? It's called audible activity, and he's engaged in terrorism, and that's a sex offender. That is the same entity that was just monitoring right now via helicopter in Ontario Police and the people of the state at Woodside Senior Apartments at 711, located at 636 North Vine, who are monitoring with that entity while the fake moon is en route. So I want to speak to that as sexual violence that I just experienced again, but also ongoing sexual violence while the state is molesting my entire body right now with directed light. That's why that vehicle has shadows on both sides of it, on the driver and passenger side. The car has a shadow on both sides of it. That's what I'm witnessing. While this psychopath is acting ignorant, are you talking to me? That's a third party. That's a psychopath. All right? That's what I mean. So anyway, the entity is displaying how needful it is for federal prison. And what I have seen most clearly demonstrated, I've seen this in Los Angeles, and I documented it. You've witnessed that yourself. It's already published documentation. But the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, especially this latest episode of kidnapping and engaging in what was none other than, legally speaking, it's foolish. It is absolutely foolish. But you're talking about one who is literally pigeonholed and just decides to just keep doing what they're doing, because I surmise they don't know what else to do. All right. And that is because you're talking about a criminal that decides not to do the right thing. That's why. All right. You know what to do. You're a psychopath and you're a criminal. And what you are usually accustomed to getting away with, you're not getting away with this time. And so you have what is the government engaging in, just maintaining that criminal conduct, hoping for some way that they will have some sort of argument. It doesn't exist. All right. And so what I experienced what was demonstrated by the Sheriff's Department, by the Ontario Police Department, as I'm documenting them stalking at the to the very moment as I step out from the museum. Believe me, those cockroaches are driving around and they're listening right now. They're psychopaths. Okay, this is what I mean. These are sickos, and I'm just putting a flashlight. I'm aiming light. I'm shedding light on what are psychopaths who have no business in the positions that they're in. They need to be put into psych wards. And I cannot stress that anymore. Stalking with the helicopter conduct, especially when you know someone's just going to use the bathroom, that's some extreme, very demented, that's dark conduct. What is even your purpose? Let alone, why are you even targeting a young woman like myself? What threat do I pose? You're talking about one that is disturbed mentally. This is a psychopath, and this is a psychopath that is in a spiritual form. It's called demonic possession. This is operating over the government. This is operating over the people while they drive around in this totally unnatural environment. And I have literally stripped them of the form that actually never existed. It just took the right person to apply not only common sense, but a legal framework in order to prosecute what is terrorism. This demonic activity, it is the terrorization of an American citizen, which the government has no business engaging in, first of all. And monitoring an American citizen, and stalking an American citizen, and facilitating, okay, commissioning, sanctioning such egregious and obsessive conduct amongst a people who are then in the shoes of the government, stalking with it, stalking on behalf of it. So this is the government that is in this vehicle on Transit and Euclid Avenue, at 11:51 p.m., feigning ignorance while he is in directed light, while he is stalking by helicopter, because he is the same entity. So that is exactly what is going on. He is the state, feigning ignorance in directed light, stalking in a helicopter, stalking in police vehicles, and stalking, driving in relevant position to me, as this psychopath is listening to me legally analyze its criminal activity and prescribe that which is indefinite federal prison in straitjackets, because that's exactly what he was doing. The demonic behavioral pattern is to engage in more of it, especially as they listen to me speak about their punishment, all right? Speak about what they're engaging in. Just like you heard last night, and like I described last night, the moment that I start documenting YouTube, immediately the state starts flying around, showing that it is a psychopath, showing the demon possession that I am speaking of, by flying in a circle with a spotlight. That's light activity, that's audible activity, that's relevant positioning, and also that it's called pacing. That pacing conduct is demonic, flying in a circle. That's a weirdo, okay? That's a weirdo that has no business in that position flying a helicopter, by the way. That is the government. And that is the personification of every psychopath that is engaging in the system. And you're talking about a psychopath that has never been addressed, because the psychopath is the government. The psychopath are the people of the state. And I happen to know one, just because I know her name, just because she might have given birth to me, does not in any way, first of all, attach me to that issue, that demented issue that plagues her, which is demon possession. You're talking about a demented individual who is engaging in sexual violence in concert with people, all of them together listening to me undress, all of them together listening and engaging in surveillance while I'm in that private space in the restroom. She has been engaging in this system, in this for years, and doing so in concert with everyone else, all right? And it's only been a secret to me. That is a psychopath, and that is a sex offender. You're talking about one that's even, I don't know what is more sick, being a stranger engaging in that, or being one who calls himself a parent, calls himself a mother, a family member, and engaging in that level of demented, what do you even describe that as? That's some sort of maniacal, twisted and highly perverted, peculiarity. That how do you even describe? It is sick, all right? That's not a well person. And that is exactly what, I am not exaggerating, that is precisely what Tracy Banks has been engaged in. And that is what she just engaged in again, helicopter activity while I'm walking to her apartment. She's monitoring me, okay? While she is on the form helping me, she's not helping me. She's not helping me. She's engaging in monitoring everything that she's doing. She's engaging in an ongoing threat to my life that she is voluntarily engaging in with others, okay? And that is one that is threatening your life while smiling in your face. That's the worst type of enemy that you can have. That's the worst type of, that's the most dangerous third party that exists, by the way, okay? That's the most dangerous one. The one that is holding you over a cliff, and acting as though they are there to protect you, and they're actually there to harm you, and they are actively harming you, all right? This is a matter of understanding what monitoring is. This is a matter of understanding how monitoring works. This is a matter of understanding what monitoring is premised upon, and it's about the government's pattern of conduct acting through the faces of the people, which is premised upon what is anonymity. So in other words, you can never be prosecuted. This is the false premise. You'll never be prosecuted for stalking, because you don't know them. How am I stalking you? I don't even know you. That's the argument. That's not an argument. But that is the false premise of the entire system, all right? And it's built on the idea and the notion and the agenda to criminally defame, all right? That's the pattern of conduct. So anyway, I just want to speak to that. That literally, that helicopter activity, it tells on everyone. That light activity tells on everyone. The Ontario Police Department, they're cockroaches. They belong in federal prison, and their repeated acts of kidnapping is an ongoing testament to that. These are very disturbed individuals. And I have identified many of them, and I want to be clear, demon possession is not just acting over those specifically that I have identified. What I have identified for you is the fact that the state, which is acting through the Ontario Police Department, and it is not limited to those who are driving past me. This is the state. Okay, and I don't mean state as in geographically the state of California. What I mean is this is the condition of that entire police department. This is what you need to understand. They are demonstrating what is plaguing the entire situation. Understand that. There is not one exception. And this is how demon possession works. Okay? And it is that which is over the masses. And I don't know about Nevada. I don't know about Arizona. Honestly, actually, I kind of do, because I've been there and I was being monitored. So I could go into that, but I won't. I'll stick to where I am right now, even though I have documentation of that. But I'm gonna focus on California for right now, and even that's relevant. But I will address that. All right, at prosecution. But I have been monitored outside of the state of California, and this is speaking to, again, what the government is engaging in. I'm just documenting it where I happen to be physically, which is in the state of California. But anyway. You have what is the ongoing demonstration of what is plaguing that entire police department, what is plaguing that entire sheriff's department, what is plaguing that entire court system. All right? These are psychopaths sitting on the bench. These are psychopaths that are sworn into the California bar. These are psychopaths that are wearing police badges and uniforms, driving around in police vehicles, driving around in fire trucks, driving around in emergency vehicles such as ambulances. All right. And these are psychopaths that are engaging in vicarious conduct on behalf of this entity. All right. And so you have an insight when you're looking at the environment. It's not in any way discriminating against any person. And if I was suffering from demon possession, if I was a part of that clan, I would not be speaking to it. OK, so the false argument, and this is what one of the demon possessed deputies stated as his audible activity while he was engaged in terrorizing and harassment and stalking inside of that facility, in addition to federal stalking and kidnapping, stating that I'm under the fake sun, which is also an admission. The third party is admitting and is aware of the fact that the fake sun is literally over that area of the sheriff's department, of the jail of West Valley. It's over the unit, and the state is also aiming directed light inside of that unit. I was inside of unit 3E. 3E cell 14. The state's fake sun is over that portion of the building, just like I show when I step out of the library. The state's fake sun is right there over the entrance. That's exactly what the state is doing at all times with light. While I was kidnapped at the jail, the state's fake sun remained over not just the jail, but the area of the jail where I'm at. The state was directing light, and I was documenting this the entire time while I was kidnapped inside of the jail on the cameras. Everything, the signs that you see that I'm documenting, my notations, all of this is documented on camera. I was documenting the entire time, fully aware of the fact and preparing for the fact that each and every last one of them are going to federal prison. Each and every last one of them are providing what is a tutorial for the masses who are ignorant about demon possession. Why is demon possession relevant? Because this is an issue of domestic terrorism in the United States, in the state of California. All right. You are engaging in terrorizing an American citizen and engaging in it and thinking that no one's going to ever know. No one's going to believe that targeted individual, because ultimately the state's agenda is to kidnap, to silence, to defame, in other words. All right. That's not going to work. That's not going to work, especially upon documentation. And so this is what the state did not consider. And this is flipping that entire system on its head. And this is also understanding how a government is engaging in terrorizing American citizens. Because that's what you're doing with that light activity. That's what you're doing with this sensational activity. That's what you're doing with this audible activity. That's what you're doing with this stalking conduct, using law enforcement to stalk and to kidnap, using the very people of the state to stalk together, to stalk with audible activity, stalking with activity that is terrorizing. The entire pattern of conduct is an ongoing threat with the intent to terrorize based on the very methods employed in order to do it. And it's demonic, all right? And that is speaking to terrorism. And so this is a legal concept to be appreciated under federal policy, as opposed to terrorism where you are terrorizing a people, for example. This is the government system where you have an entity terrorizing an American citizen. All right, concentrating that demonic system on one individual, which is domestic terrorism. All right, and so I want to speak to what occurred, and so that's what you'll see in the video. And I just wanted to go in depth a little bit about that, and literally how the environment tells on everyone, how the state's pattern of conduct of stalking tells on everyone, how the state stalking with light tells on everyone, how there is no mistake and there is no false perception of distance or whatnot. The state's fake moon is as close as I am telling you it is. It's right here over me. It's right where I'm standing, and as I move, it's moving. All right, that's Amtrak engaging in stalking and harassment and terrorism. That's P.O.C. It is 12:07 a.m., August 23rd, 2021. All right, so you're going to want to, there are things that are so relevant with regard to the state. I have documented for a long time the use of Amtrak willingly and providing the guise under which the state is stalking and harassing with the means and the audible activity of a train, and the actual train schedule, the actual business of the train, especially as it pertains to this area, and how it may or may not have fluctuated, adjusted. Understand it's directly relevant to what the state is engaging in as far as its criminal system, and ongoing awareness of its documentation. And so you have seen how the state engages in literally creating a fictitious prosecution in order to accomplish its criminal objectives. The state does the same thing with regard to the people of the state, with regard to those actors that are being documented. And so the Amtrak is running incessantly. And again, I put that in air quotes because the state creates artificial activity when there is actually no train even in motion. The state engages in chicanery, like I documented the other day, where Metrolink is on the Amtrak train. And for example, and you've got all kind of other random train cars just as a means of maintaining activity. All right, that's what the state is doing. Whether you've got a train stop in motion or not, the pattern of conduct is underway, and Amtrak is directly engaged in that. That's called amplification, by the way, and you're not hearing that train at Vine and G Street. That's called artificial activity. You're not hearing that train inside of Stater Brothers. Even when you're walking down Hobo, that's called amplification of activity. And the presence of a train track anywhere is the guise under which the state is stalking with noise. That is a public nuisance. And that is under ordinary circumstances. This is not the case where you're hearing a train everywhere that you're going, even inside of your home. All right, so loud that it is engaging in incessant disturbance. There are many laws. There are so many issues with regard to the state's pattern of conduct. So, and much of it defies common sense. But anyway, I'm going to digress. It is 12:09 a.m. It's August 23rd now, and I really just wanted to go in depth as to what I documented as I left the museum with brevity to go to Woodside Senior Apartment. State's fake moon goes to be over 408 West G Street. Over the building opposite apartment 51, all right? While at the same time helicopter activity is being amplified. And as I left the intersection of Holt and Euclid, I captured the video of the helicopter flying directly over and Ontario police patrolling on both sides of me at Euclid and Holt, and on the opposite side of the street, which is, I believe this is C Street. They're patrolling all around, and that's just what I saw visually. They're engaged in ongoing relevant positioning, meaning stalking, remaining present, 24 hours a day, all right? And so that is the P.O.C. 12:20 a.m. And directed light is on the opposite wall of the museum. All right, in my previous podcast just moments ago, another quote-unquote train, Amtrak, in motion. You got 15 to 20 quote-unquote trains in a night. This is stalking with audible activity. This is ongoing monitoring by Amtrak. And they use that sound of that horn to stalk with activity. As I move, you're hearing a train horn just like that. This is P.O.C., Ontario Museum of History and Arts. That's Amtrak engaging in P.O.C. Monitoring, by the way, what I'm doing on my phone, which is YouTube, which is what I was going to get to. YouTube blocked the exact same video again that it blocked yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't block, removed it, and then waged a threat about striking my channel, which the substance of that threat is to deny the ability to publish documentation about a government monitoring, which is a government threatening the life of an American citizen. Engaging in what is kidnapping, which is clearly specified in the video. It is paperwork. It is the names of individuals engaging in kidnapping. It is on a channel that is clearly specified as documentation of criminal activity by a government. Its documentary purposes clearly are also stated, and this is all reasonably construed from the all of the documentation that exists, in addition to YouTube's criminal pattern of conduct of targeting my content, all right, in violation of its own rules. So YouTube doesn't even have credibility while it uses its rules as it's seeking to target and harass and facilitate the state's pattern of conduct, blocking the same exact video that it blocked yesterday. So I deleted the other video because I removed one image, and I uploaded the exact same video minus one image. So they removed the exact same image at 11 p.m. And understand, this is with ongoing knowledge that I'm not on the internet. I'm being monitored. All right. The intent of this is to keep my content off for as much as they can, engaging in what is, legally speaking, this is ongoing harassment, regardless of the fact that they're being documented. And this is documented harassment while, by the way, federal stalking is underway. So that's a whole other level of a prosecution by a third party and facilitation of that criminal activity by government, and engaging in that regardless. Okay, so that's speaking to an unlawful threat. This is what YouTube is engaging in while, by the way, I continue to document what is helicopters flying over me, and they're fully aware of the documentation. This is all going to the prosecution of YouTube. They are not ignorant of the documentation. It's on their platform, which they are targeting, having no basis whatsoever. I don't care if a third party is trying to urge them, another third party, by the way, trying to urge them to remove it off the page, which is something that a company like YouTube would try to argue. Understand, they're all third parties, all of them. Anybody that they're asserting is urging them to remove it is a third party or state actor that has zero credibility. They're monitoring together. And I've also documented YouTube itself engaging in the pattern of targeting my content, literally following me around, like I've already stated. So I'm not going to repeat all of this. YouTube has zero credibility, and this is in conformity to the state's pattern of conduct. And I just want to document 11 p.m., remove the exact same video again off of my page. This is the removal of evidence while the government is literally engaging in threatening my life, driving around, stalking in police vehicles, stalking with light, like I just captured in video. All right, so I mean, this is what I mean by a federal prosecution that is merciless, okay? And that is what the people of the state, including companies like YouTube, and those that I continue to document, I'm not even going to name them, but my evidence speaks for itself, and it's already published. So that's going toward YouTube, that is literally begging to be embarrassed on the world stage and begging to be shown as a terrorist, to be shown as a sex offender, to be shown as one who was harassing and facilitating a government's ability to monitor, while they are portraying themselves in the exact opposite light on their own platforms and on the venue of the internet. It's a lie. You know them by their deeds, and YouTube's deeds are in direct conflict with what they would like to be seen as. The reality is what they are doing. Okay, and under the big picture, they are on the wrong side of history, and they're on the wrong side of the law. And so this is the removal of my evidence, and that's an ongoing threat to my life. The state stalking me, like I just captured in video, and that's P.O.C, and that is acting while I remain subject to that life-threatening monitoring system by the state of California. It's 12:26 a.m. on August 23rd, 2021, and that is the removal of my documentation of the kidnapping that I suffered on June 18, 2021 by the Ontario Police Department, Officer S.I.I.S, who also kidnapped me in July of 2020, and with Officer J. Arnold. The number on his shirt was 19994, and Officer C. Scatel. And they engaged in kidnapping, citing what is a non-existent warrant, stating that there's a warrant for my arrest, referencing a fictitious case. So this is the abuse of law enforcement devices, is a fictitious warrant in reference to a fictitious prosecution, which is the state's means of kidnapping, seeking to ultimately kidnap inside of a mental facility. And this is why the state was engaging in seeking to artificially engineer a mental health case by abusing Penal Code 1370. And this is what the lawyers and the judges were engaging in. And this is acting in concert with the criminal activity of the Ontario Police Department and the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. This is kidnapping by an entity. And this is also that which YouTube is fully engaged in, trying to conceal that, because that is the substance, that's the significance of what they are doing while they are removing my video of what is paperwork that has no interest. It has no interest of them whatsoever. It's of court dates. It's of signs that I held up while I was kidnapped inside of the jail. And in no way is this, it is in no way even relevant to even assert some sort of bullying, harassment. Who am I bullying? Who am I harassing? I am identifying criminal activity. And that's what and that's the bottom line. That's the desperate acts of an entity, all right? And YouTube is the entity. I mean, I'm unapologetic, but it's sad and it is so pathetic. And I can't wait to embarrass companies like that because it's shameful. It's disgusting and it's despicable. YouTube engaging in the state's pattern of conduct again, engaging in duplicating the removal that they engaged in yesterday. The exact same video, removed it again off of my page. And that's an ongoing threat to my life. The state engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping, trying to conceal the ongoing criminal activity that it is ceaselessly engaged in. That is P.O.C. "12:32 a.m., quote-unquote Amtrak blowing its horn again." This is repeated train after train after train. The reason why you don't hear it now is because the entity knows that I'm recording as I'm submitting an appeal. There you go. Which is proof of what I just stated. And it's louder than it was. And that was silence upon knowledge that I am recording, because it was blowing incessantly. As soon as I start recording, it stops. And they started blowing as I started submitting my appeal on YouTube. That is the third one. It is 12:33 a.m. Third one as in third train in the last, less than 15 minutes? I've documented up to 19 trains overnight. Yeah, that's Amtrak at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. By the way, no actual train in motion. That was just the sound of a train. There is no train in motion. I just want to make that clear. That is called stalking with activity. Monitoring on my phone. That's the guise under which the state is engaging in that stalking activity is merely the presence of train tracks at the museum. So the state creates the noise, the sound of a train, used at the same time that I'm engaging in activity on the venue of the internet using my communication device. All right? That's demonic. That is the demonic behavioral pattern, and that's federal stalking conduct. And Amtrak is to be prosecuted because Amtrak is not ignorant that the state is using the presence of that train track as the guise under which audible activity is created. But I just want to be clear, there is actually no train in motion while you're hearing this loud train blow. There is no train over here. It's P.O.C. "12:45 a.m. Amtrak. This is monitoring what I'm doing on the internet. That's called amplification of train activity. And there is actually no train in motion. Again, no train in motion. The state is creating the noise of a train. No train in motion. Okay? It is 12:46, by the way, as well. All right? Ongoing stalking using Amtrak as the audible activity method. P.O.C. All right, this is ongoing documentation of third-party YouTube. I'm going to I'm not going to mince words whatsoever, and I have already described YouTube in the precise manner based on their documented activity, their documented conduct, which is not coincidentally facilitating the pattern of conduct. All right. So YouTube is a criminal, and understand YouTube is nothing but a company name that is describing the individuals that are facilitating a government's ability to monitor and engage in criminal obstruction of justice. So YouTube is a criminal. All right. Engaging in theft of evidence of a government. They know exactly what it is that I'm documenting, have engaged in literally stalking me on my page, my website, thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com. As I embed videos from the YouTube page, this is when they engaged in removing videos that were, super old, from August 2020. As I started building my page in July of 2021 and embedding videos, they started removing them. Not July, in March of 2021, when I began my website and started embedding videos. From August 2020, they were already on YouTube for a prolonged period. YouTube begins restricting them in order to stop my ability to embed them onto my website. As I embed them, meaning the exact videos that I'm embedding, and they're going behind and placing restrictions on them, in addition to the fact that they're not in violation of any policy, they are also literally videos that were already sitting on the website for a prolonged period. And as I selected those videos, they were subject to these invalid restrictions, trying to obstruct justice, trying to conceal. YouTube is a criminal, and I'm going to be raw in my speech because that's exactly what they are doing. And I'm just going to be abundantly clear with that and unequivocal. Okay. So, I want to speak to what they engaged in now. You have YouTube that is rejecting an appeal when I should not even be subject to an appeal. They are referencing their policy and guidelines in order to find some reason to remove my content. And after I have thoroughly scrutinized the pathetic efforts of using age restrictions to limit my content, so they have moved to what is targeting and harassment and bullying of who? I'm not targeting, harassing, or bullying anyone. I'm speaking to what is kidnapping that I was subject to, and that I am subject to stalking. So because I use the word stalking that I'm subject to is not in violation of, I'm not engaging in stalking conduct on the internet. I'm not engaging in harassment. I'm speaking about criminal activity of a government. And understand, YouTube cannot even give an intelligent response as to who I'm harassing, who I am targeting. And this is documentation that is paperwork again. And this is the same conduct that they engaged in when I documented the paperwork documenting my kidnapping that I suffered in September of 2020. This is the exact same conduct. They immediately tried to conceal that, placing invalid restrictions on it. And this is a repeat of that same documented criminal activity. It's not different. And there is nothing about documentation, and there is nothing about my documentation. There is nothing about the substance of what I am posting of my documentation of the state's criminal activity that is in violation of any policy that YouTube can cite. All right. So you were talking about having zero policy that applies that my documentation violates. And in addition to that, blindly relying on their guidelines, regardless of the fact that it does not apply, and using it as a means to remove my content. That's exactly what they were doing with age restrictions. Okay. And so this was the nonetheless subject to submitting an appeal after you don't even have any grounds to remove my content, abuse of their own policies in order to target and harass and threaten and facilitate federal stalking by a government, and then rejecting an appeal, and understand not having to give any response. So they are hiding, all right, not having to give any answer as they're engaging in abuse of their own guidelines. A despicable hypocrite, and I want to document that. And this is going toward the prosecution of this company. This is the people of the state acting through a company name, and in the same way that the people of the state act under company names in relevant position, engaging in the state's pattern of conduct, criminal obstruction of justice,
which is serving criminal obstruction of justice. All the state wants to do is keep concealed the pattern of conduct that federal stalking is underway, that it's a psychopath sex offending stalker. All right. That's what the state wants to keep under wraps. Regardless of YouTube's conduct, like I said, that boat has sailed. It is all over the internet. Regardless of their futile attempts, what this is speaking to is the formation of policy and how companies like YouTube shall be prosecuted. And not only that, they will be mandated to engage in the very opposite conduct of what they're doing now. And I'm speaking to and I'm revealing why. Okay, I'm revealing why. So you're not going to be able to engage in this sort of conduct that I'm encountering. And this is laying down the groundwork for that. Other than the fact that YouTube makes me want to spit. They are literally disgusting. So I just want to document what they engaged in, though. And this is acting hand in hand with the state that's stalking in helicopters, stalking in Ontario police vehicles right now. They're to be prosecuted right alongside those criminals. YouTube is no different. Standing beside a government that's engaging in that, you are acting with the government. And there is no deviation from that. It is the pattern of conduct. And under federal policy, you're not going to be treated any differently. And so I'm speaking on behalf of the ordinary targeted individual incapable of even approaching what the entity engages in. And this is how the entity operates through the people, okay, that are literally criminals and hypocrites bending backwards in order to act to conceal the state's criminal activity, that which is clearly documented on the website. On the platform, what I am subject to, not even relevant to any age restriction or any sort of bullying, harassment, or targeting. It doesn't apply. They are reaching for something in order to remove my content, and it's disgusting. This is something that the ordinary targeted individual shall be shielded from, and this is something that will subject such actors, such as YouTube, to a very intense federal prosecution and exposed as a terrorist. Because this is the entity. You are acting in concert. You are not separate from the criminal activity of that entity. You're facilitating it. And this is the engaging in what is facilitation of terrorism, of sexual violence, of kidnapping, of stalking of an American citizen. And they are intentionally and knowingly doing so. Understand, all of my documentation is posted on their platform. So they are literally looking for ways, hunting down ways to remove the evidence against the state. It's not going to work. The state is going to be prosecuted. The people of the state are going to be prosecuted. And companies on the venue of the internet, they're going to be prosecuted and exposed. It's 1:43 a.m. and it's August 23rd, 2021 now. And this is speaking to that ongoing pattern of conduct that YouTube remains engaged in. And it is an ongoing threat to the life of the targeted individual, myself, who remains subject to federal stalking. And this is speaking to the paperwork and the documentation that I held up on the facility cameras inside of West Valley, while the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and the Ontario Police Department engaged in kidnapping while federal stalking was underway. The entire time. Federal stalking as I documented before I was kidnapped. Federal stalking as I remained subject to kidnapping inside of the jail. And federal stalking that continues as I speak, which YouTube is facilitating. And so I just want to paint YouTube in its accurate light. It's a criminal. It is a terrorist. YouTube is a sex offender, and this is a company that needs to be recognized as such. And it is in direct contrast to the way that they depict themselves on their own website and in the public eye. All right. And that's the truth. This is the conduct, and what I am speaking to shall be thoroughly laid out in the forum of a federal court, speaking to the thoroughly speaking to what all, because I am specifically laying out what YouTube is engaging in, but everything will be made crystal clear precisely what they are doing and how egregious it is. It is disgusting, and they are going to answer for that. It is 1:44 a.m. and they engage in, and I'm putting this in air quotes because they don't even have any authority. They are totally unqualified, not only because they're biased, because you're talking about one who is literally unintelligent. This is just the same criminal that I'm documenting day in and day out with a fake son and no way to combat documentation of its criminal activity. All right. Woefully unprepared for that prosecution. That is inevitable. YouTube, in the same way, you're talking about lame. You are speaking of those who are unqualified in every regard to interject themselves, because that's what this is. And understand social media, the internet is
an inevitable aspect of exposing a government that's targeting an American citizen. And so I will be disarming these websites. Owning your company, being on the venue of the internet is in no way providing you any basis or qualifications to interject yourself into that. And so it is perfectly appropriate for a targeted individual to use the internet, to use a social media platform. And this is speaking to the place that these companies do not have to inject themselves and to put their paws on evidence against the government, engaging in criminal activity with that government, because that's what that is, legally speaking. So you're literally talking about those who are sitting on the opposite side of a computer screen looking for a way to conceal criminal activity by an entity. That's exactly what they're doing, and they have no qualifications whatsoever, okay? Probably getting paid $12 an hour to try to come up with some excuse that they do not have in order to block content that is speaking to an egregious level of criminal activity by an entity. And none of them at all are in any way qualified to do so, okay? And this is just speaking to what is a federal prosecution of a government. They're unqualified to do so. It being on your platform on the internet, you're owning that company, you're working for that company, you're working in that department that handles community guidelines. There's no qualification for it at all right? So you're talking about what is a new understanding of how you are exposing a government that is engaged in monitoring American citizens, posting it on the internet, publishing and exposing it, reporting it is hand in hand with posting it on the venue of the internet, and owning these companies in no way is providing any grounds to it. And this is going to be that which is a matter of federal policy, putting these companies literally in their place. All right. So it's 1:47 a.m. and that is the P.O.C. And now I'm going to punctuate my point. YouTube is a criminal. 1:48 a.m. The moment that I press stop, the sound of a train sounds. That's amplification. That's amplification of a train. And with simultaneity to my ending that podcast seconds ago, immediately a train horn sounds, stalking with activity. And that is not an Amtrak train. It's on the Amtrak. It's on the Amtrak train tracks. But this is a train that's just lugging a whole bunch of various trailers. It's like a junk-looking train, which is very heavily used on this track. But like I said, it's going to be assigned to Amtrak. Amtrak's not ignorant. Amtrak is fully engaged in the P.O.C. And the guise under which the state engages in the pattern of conduct, the guise is provided to the state for the purpose of monitoring. All right, so where the state is using third parties' vehicle as a means of audible activity, those third parties are not ignorant of that. Amtrak is not ignorant of it, and it's going to be assigned to that actor because the ordinary target individual is not going to be weighed down with some task of trying to figure out whether it's Amtrak or who it is or what, when they're trying to describe what is happening all around them. This is P.O.C. stalking with activity using the train tracks. All right. And so with simultaneity to my ending that sentence, YouTube is a criminal, immediately you hear a train sounding, and immediately a train is in motion, just arriving out of the blue. You don't hear anything approaching. Immediately you hear a horn blow, and a train is suddenly in motion. And I've also shown how the train literally sits in a relevant position, sits stationary on that track, and is used for a means of ongoing stalking with noise. Hearing crashing sound of a train where it just sits stationary there as a means of ongoing noise right here at the museum while I'm here. And also as a means, as a state engages in stalking with activity using a train, keeping a train present as the form for stalking with activity. All right. It's the same exact pattern of conduct using nothing but a train. All right. Which is relevant for what is interstate commerce. It's 1:50 a.m. That's P.O.C. (2:02 a.m.) That's another sound, train sounding.
It is blowing the horn of a train, which is amplified audible activity, and it is also artificial amplified audible activity used as a means of stalking with activity. This is literally demonic activity using a train to stalk with noise. This is the state's pattern of conduct. That is what you hear in the background. The state does that as I make moves, as I'm sleeping while I'm here, as I make any moves, as I dig in my bag, as I operate my phone, stalking with activity, doing just that at the same time that I move, at the same time I press my phone screen, at the same time I open a new application. That's called stalking with activity. It's also called harassment and terrorism by Amtrak. That's another train, but I just want you to hear that. It's 2:03 a.m. P.O.C. I'm sorry, let me clarify. The sound of another train. There was actually no train on the track. All right, so that was the sound of a train. Well, no actual train is in motion on the tracks right here behind the museum. Alrighty, that's called artificial activity, and it's also used as a means of following my movements, meaning stalking with noise. So as I move, sounding a train. All right, that is P.O.C. It is 2:37 a.m. At 2:34 a.m. as I begin recording on my podcast information about the third-party YouTube, the Amtrak train is used again as a means of stalking with activity, and it is ongoing activity creation. I just wanted to document that. That's 2:34 a.m. Ongoing train activity. That's amplification, turning up the volume. That is not the actual sound of the train. The state is amplifying it, turning it up as it's listening to me document it. That's called amplification. All right, then that same method is what has been documented up at Woodside Senior Apartments, as though you can hear that train outside of the apartment of Woodside Senior Apartments, outside when my car, before it was stolen by the Ontario Police Department in October of 2019. And I documented the sound of the train outside of, while I'm inside of my car at Vine and G Street and at Fern and G Street. You heard it on my podcast. It's documented. This is amplification. The state is turning up the volume of the sound of a train and using it as a means of stalking with activity. And I just want to document again. I just want you to get my point with the plain numerosity itself. This is Amtrak. It's 2:34 a.m. Right now it's 2:38 a.m. So this is 4 minutes straight of ongoing amplified train activity. That's P.O.C. All right, 2:39 a.m. That was 5 minutes of train activity, and that is occurring with simultaneity to my recording my documentation about the third-party YouTube. All right, so that's just repeated use of a train because I'm here at the museum. So the state is using this incessantly, and this is documented conduct. I've already documented this, in other words, and this is, you're seeing how the state is engaging in just using the train over and over again, and that is especially because I am here. The state will use whatever. And so it will use the train 27 times throughout the entire night in order to maintain activity because the train tracks are here, all right? When a train is both on the tracks and not on the tracks, all right? Just creating the noise. But in addition, you're talking about Amtrak train tracks right here. And you're looking at the frequency with which the state is using these train tracks as a means of audible activity creation. All right, it's 2:40 a.m. That's plane activity, 2:41 a.m. Flying right over the hood of the museum where I am, the same place where the state places its fake sun, right over the hood of the museum where I am. Flying right over me, over this roof where I'm sitting underneath the museum. Okay, that's P.O.C. 2:50 a.m. as I'm recording on Facebook. That's called amplification, making it louder than it actually is. And that's stalking with activity. In addition to that, it's actually harassment and terrorism. But I just want to speak to what the state is doing using the train as they're monitoring what I'm doing on my phone. So as I start recording on Facebook, another train comes. It's 2:50 a.m. And that is amplification. Super duper loud. Louder than it actually is. P.O.C. That's Amtrak. The sound is reverberating. The sound is literally moving, all right? You can perceive it moving because the state is amplifying it. It comes from multiple directions. It's 2:51 a.m. And this is stalking with activity using the method of a train. Specifically, it's Amtrak, and Amtrak's going to be prosecuted for that. It's P.O.C. This is supposedly an ongoing, enduring train. The state's just keeping train activity going. I want to be clear, these trains aren't going anywhere. They're literally patrolling back and forth on the train tracks, using as a means as an ongoing stalking of activity. Right now, the train is headed in the west direction on the Amtrak trail tracks. All right, and they just go back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, ready in relevant position, stalking in relevant position, much like the people of the state of California do. Maintaining relevant position, stalking, ready to arrive in the path at the moment. That's what they're doing on the train tracks, okay? Keeping in relevant position and using the train, especially as I am here. And this is the extent that the entity goes to in order to stalk, in order to monitor. And that train is literally just going back and forth on the train tracks. It is 2:54 a.m. 3:04 a.m. With simultaneity to my pressing play in my Google Drive to watch a video. And that's hyper amplification. It's not actually that loud. The state is turning up the volume. In addition to creating sensational activity on the sidewalk where I am laying right here on the museum grounds. That train is not vibrating the sidewalk on the museum grounds. That's amplification of sound, and that is sensational activity. That is also demonic. While the state is using this as a means of stalking with activity, that's demonic. And it is also a means of what is terrorism, as that demonic behavioral pattern is used to monitor. That's Amtrak. 3:05 a.m. P.O.C. Alrighty, as I open up my Google Drive, that's monitoring on my phone. That's Amtrak engaging in federal stalking, monitoring on the video of the internet, enabling a government to monitor. As I go to a different app, Google Drive, as I press play on a video, monitoring what I'm doing on the video of the internet on my communication device, 3:05 a.m. It's plane activity at 3:18 a.m. And as I start recording, trying to smother the sound of the plane activity with the sound of a vehicle. That's a plane that sounded at 3:18 a.m., monitoring what I'm doing on the video of the internet as I open up my website on my phone. Plane activity, it's both audible activity. The car that sounds as I start recording, because the plane activity is what was started. 3:19 a.m., that's P.O.C. What you are paying attention to is the amplification of that audible activity. The distance where I am, and I am loudly hearing traffic at this distance, okay? That's amplification. And the simultaneity of conduct, that's the demonic behavioral pattern. They are stalking with this conduct, all right? They're monitoring. It's P.O.C. 3:27 a.m. Audible activity. The forum is Amtrak train. There is no train on the tracks. Just sounding a horn and stalking with activity while I'm on the venue of the internet. The state's criminal purpose is, the pattern of conduct is harassing in and of itself. But while the entity is monitoring, understand the entity is terrified of documentation. All right. Engaging in diligent criminal activity, is a psychopath, is a sex offender, is an obsessed stalker, okay? But is terrified at the same time of documentation. And so what you're witnessing is engaging in criminal activity where the entity wants me to divert my attention from what I'm doing, what I'm publishing on the internet, what I'm looking at, what I'm working on, and will engage in more criminal activity to be documented, and would prefer that rather than I publish more documentation online or whatever I'm working on. Okay, this is pursuant to real-time knowledge of what I'm doing on the internet, pursuant to federal stalking. But I just want to be clear, this is the criminal intent. This is based on my familiarity of the psychopaths that surround and the state's ongoing criminal pattern of conduct. This is based on their knowledge of what I'm doing and what they would rather me. It's a lesser of two evils, I guess. Document more and would desire for me to stop publishing on the internet. I don't know, but this is the futility of a loser. This is another train, and there's no actual train on the tracks, by the way, but we're looking at pure numerosity. 3:28 a.m. That's another train. P.O.C. It is August 23rd, 8 BWA 909. This is the P.O.C. documenting the people of the state stalking with the public entity. Keeping this light source over my head. 7ACU 245, 7AUB 121, 5B34 722. 4ZSE 473, 7LJX 738, 8VPP 879, 7NHZ 712. 7BXR 545, 8MWW 302, FORYR, that's FURYR, 7ARL 087, 8SVN 386, 7URU 683, 7PCX 496, 6SIG 083, 5DNF 156, 81124S2, 8LWA 018, 7TEY 090. What you're going to pay attention to in the video is the state's fake sun in the same position that I captured at well after 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a little after 7:30 when I'm capturing the video, about 7:45 in the morning. State's fake sun is over the museum. And so what the state is engaging in is suggesting that the actual sun, because this is the position that in an alternate universe where monitoring does not exist, and the state is not a stalker, and the people of the state are not psychopath, demon-possessed stalkers acting with it that are engaging in this demented pattern of conduct of stalking with light together. You have what is the supposition that the sun is over the museum, the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, from 7 o'clock in the morning up until 1 o'clock in the morning, because that is what I have documented on video for you to see for your own eyes. And that is not in any way even a tenable position, speaking about the time of year. This is the state's conduct of stalking with light, and that's what I just captured. Again, 7YEF 819. 8JDA 699, stalking with the state that's flying over me right now, amplifying plane activity under the fake sun. That is over the museum at 7 o'clock in the morning, yet again, which I've already documented. 44725X2, because when I documented it on video after 10 a.m., after 11 a.m., after 12 p.m., I said I have already documented the state's fake sun over the same address, the same location over me at the address at 7 o'clock in the morning. 44550D1, and then the state engaged in keeping that fake sun over me as I traveled from the museum at 7 o'clock in the morning. 8JUE 986. Wash Me Car Wash, commercial vehicle, 44550D1. Driving around in a white van like a rapist. He's a stalker, 90981W2. 6XLW900. 7TAP337, AZ580, handicap, 7FJT082, 8EZC140.
All right, so as I'm standing on the side of 150 East Holt, the state's fake sun is on the opposite side of that building. The county workers are all monitoring. They're state actors and they're psychopaths, and the state's fake sun stays over their building all day long. They are engaged in monitoring with the state, and the reason why you heard plane activity is because I'm standing in the shade, so the state is supplementing with activity creation while they are stalking in relevant position at the stoplight. This is ongoing monitoring while you heard that plane flying over me. That's why, because I'm standing in the shade. All right, you're thinking about that group stalker that I captured on video using his hazards parked in the street of 150 East Holt. They're supplementing for activity, keeping me surrounded. 7YRP 436. That's why the state is amplifying plane activity over my head. 7AGC 258. License plate 8WFC 387. 7RGD 901. And so that's what I just captured right now on video. And this is 7:45 in the morning. And I understand the state's light source has been, it doesn't go anywhere. The state, like I stated, there are not actually cloudy days. The state is covering up its light source and has absolutely no way to avoid what it has already been captured engaging in. License 3FAH 472. 80109X1. 8MLK 884. 32276W1. And I also want to point out, I'm not even going to point it out, I'm going to go ahead and capture it for you. What I pointed out in my video was the same location of the fake sun and the fake moon last night. Fake sun right now in the same position. 8SKE142. PH4173. 7U76158. 5B57773. They need to be deported if they're not American citizens. 8SRN 733. 7PNT 932. The state's fake sun is in the same position as the state's fake moon that I captured last night. Okay, the same fake moon, by the way, that went from being on the side of 150 East Holt as I was walking from the Starbucks at 507 Euclid. Right, I capture it as I'm exiting Starbucks. It's clearly at the north end where Starbucks is. It's in, just like the state is doing right now, moving north of Euclid as I'm walking up Euclid. The state with its fake moon last night, moving south down Euclid to remain in alignment with me, and I'm capturing it in video while I'm at the intersection of Euclid and Hall, and then I captured it in video again over Woodside Senior Apartments, and the same fake moon is in the position where the state's fake sun is right now. 8CCK454. That is not the sun and the moon in the same location. That's not the sun and the moon that is always over me, where I am. That's me being the center of the universe of stalkers. 8AGB134. 7SBT134. 7UMW612. 6WIE991. 7NHX463. 40748F2. 8RRA754. 8JSJ736. 8AQF510. 7AAP. Can't really see the rest of that one. 8WCU755. This one is 7AAP934. It's 8:04 a.m. and I captured the state's fake sun over me at the museum. I just want to make sure you get that. I continue to make points. I mean, I even did yesterday. I'm not even going to take credit for it anymore, because literally the more I point out the criminal activity, the more that they are like handing over a wealth of demonstration of everything that I am speaking to. They know that it's true. And so this is why you see impossible light activity all over the place. 26199K2. 8HKL741. And when you do that, you are also conceding the fact that you're a sex offender. You're also conceding the fact that you're a terrorist. You're also conceding the fact that you're a stalker. All right, so you can't engage in trying to act like you're just sweeping the floor when you're stalking with activity. You've already shown the reality. This demonic light that is unnaturally occurring under a fake sun. All right, so what I want to show you is how the state's fake sun is moving onto both sides of 150 East Holt. 26199K2. All right, I did capture the state's fake sun, and I just wanted to show how it is on both sides of the, no, it's not on both sides of the building, how it is migrating to both sides of the building, keeping in alignment with me as I am at Holt. As I walk backwards, back toward transit, state's fake sun is over there, 5JXB246. That is a clear, clear proof of movement of that light source, okay? So you have it engaging in necessary movement. It is not, I'm sorry, paper plate 4284690. I don't even know what that is. That doesn't even look like a paper plate. 7HCE675, 8TYV541, 8AJT352, 8KJH813, BPL3844, 6ZAC652, 7ZEL595. Like I was stating, that is requires movement, and it's not my movement. My moving, if that's actually the sun that you're seeing over the museum, by the way, my walking to what is the intersection of Euclid and Holt, about maybe about 100, 150 yards, if that. But you're talking about moving away from the building. It's over the roof of the museum. I would not see that from this location, okay? What you have is necessary movement of that light source in real time in a very short amount of time. And this is movement going north up Euclid Avenue. And this is not the behavior of the actual sun. And also, in addition to that, you're also looking at what the state is doing for the duration of a day. Where was the state's fake sun setting? Literally up Euclid Avenue at 507 Euclid Avenue, where it stayed over the Starbucks, 8TYV541. This is not the sun, 6LUV662. That's not what I'm trying to prove, but I'm just showing you how ridiculous the state's conduct is. It's literally staying at this block all day long because I'm here. 5TTE266, 6SQV576. 8RHM443, 8CVV385, 8LGF221, 6VRU531, in case I didn't read that one already. And what occurred while I was kidnapped by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the Ontario Police Department, and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, all of those documented officers of the court and judges engaging in kidnapping in order to obstruct justice, trying to conceal this very system that I'm documenting on the internet. You have what is the state's fake sun over me, directed light molesting me while I'm sitting on the buses of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Understand that they don't have those windows where there's any, and not only that, you're talking about the sun that is over a vehicle. A sun is not beside the vehicle, all right? But at the same time, when I'm being transported to court, the state is aiming directed light inside of the metal mesh at the top of the roof portion of the buses. All right, and it is concentrated light that is in movement. It's dynamic light. It's not stationary light, and it is light that is coming at a downward trajectory from the top of the bus through metal mesh. That's impossible light. That is not sunlight. That is light that is aiming horizontally at a downward trajectory and moving around inside of the bus. This is what the state was doing while the fake sun was on the side of the bus. So on Etiwanda Avenue, coming from 9700 Etiwanda Avenue, where West Valley is, the state's fake sun was on the side of that bus moving north up Etiwanda. And then as we drove down Arrow to get to the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, the state's fake sun proceeded to go west, staying over the bus while you driving on Arrow. Okay, and then turning on to Utica if you know how to get to the courthouse, the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse, or turning on to Live Oak. This is the state is stalking with light as you're going north, and then as you're going west and going north to get to the courthouse. The state is keeping its light source over. And by the way, it is over the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse at this time and remaining there until as late as 4:10 p.m. when I was kept at court. And the state's fake sun is over the van, over the buses as they drive me back to the courthouse, where it remains, and it's over me in the parking lot while I'm getting out of the car or getting out of the van or getting off of the bus. The state's fake sun is nowhere near 507 Euclid Avenue. It's nowhere near the Ontario Police Department. It is nowhere near the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. It is nowhere near Stater Brothers. It is nowhere near Mercy House. It remains over that property, and it is hovering over the vehicle that I am inside of, driven by the state. Same thing that you're documenting, that I've documented inside of Tracy Banks' vehicle, 7GIX210. I just had to get that license plate for something told me to get that license plate. License 7TDK920. So you have what is the movement, and so as I'm moving from one side of 150 East Holt to the opposite side, my walking to the opposite side of a building is, and while the state's light source is remaining in direct alignment to me, meaning it is not out of step with being in a perfect alignment with me. This is movement of that light source. All right, that's movement of the light source. 7HNM875. And like I stated, at 5 o'clock in the evening, the state's fake sun, and you saw the magnificent light activity inside of Starbucks, showing you what's wrong with them. That was into the evening, all right, where the state's fake sun is over that drive-through window, over the building, just like I showed as I went inside, okay? Just like I've shown as the behavioral pattern with the state's light source. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not even engaging in a negligible or any comparable activity as the sun, because the actual sun, first of all, is not over that building at any time of day. And second of all, the actual sun isn't going to stay over a building for the duration of a day, or in front of a building for the duration of a day, or next to a building for the duration of a day, all right? Or on the left side to the right side of the building for the duration of a day. All right, that's what the state does with its fake sun. 6WXL975, Ontario Police stalking, driving north on Euclid Avenue, proceeding west on Holt Boulevard. 8LTZ280, and that's also on traffic cameras. It's 8:13 a.m. 57465E3. 8LQH091. 6RCN765. Alrighty, I'll tell you one thing, the sun and the moon are not sitting in the same position relative to me, because that's exactly what the state just did. That's exactly what you'll see on the video, and that's exactly what the state is doing with its fake sun right now. City of Ontario, you already know they're a heavily documented stalker. The municipality itself, yes, and is also engaged in kidnapping. That's what they're in the business of doing. They're going to federal prison for that. They're going to answer for that. 14217J2. They sure are. You'll find out who. 58064W2. 8CSZ698. That's the state flying over me by plane. That's letting you know what this psychopath in 8CSZ698 is doing. Amplified audible activity of the vehicle. Fake sun over me right here, and Southwest Airlines over my head. He's a stalker. License 7URJ314, 8RUB481, 8VGY320, 6WML698, 8JTH961. Dalinghas never settle. We fix foundations. They're a stalker in a commercial vehicle, license number 983851, using their business as a means of federal stalking and terrorism and sexual violence. 31327E3 of an American citizen. All right, so you identify that brand as well as that third party. This license plate 8L41251, Omnitrans 1399984, bus number 1270. And it's armed with surveillance cameras, which I'm referencing. P.O.C, driven by, it looks like a Latina female. License plate ISCRUZN 8MBT238. Let me see, 8SGM892. And it is 8:15 a.m. 7PIY986. 8TZN642. And again, that's Southwest Airlines flying right here at the tip of the intersection where I'm standing, okay? Very specific where they're flying. So very close to where I am, just like the fake sun is, all right? That's what the state does with the planes. That's what they're doing. 7NOD960. 7YER136. 7NHK423. Understand and open your mind to how the people engage in surveillance. This is surveillance. The states engage in surveillance. How do the people engage in surveillance? Just one face after another, maintaining presence. They don't have to keep, for example, 4NHK423 is engaged in terrorism. She's engaged in stalking. She's engaged in surveillance. And she's a sex offender. She doesn't have to sit here all day long engaged in surveillance and following me around. She is maintaining presence while she's sitting at the stoplight, and ongoing presence is maintained by the group. As a group, they make sure that I am surrounded. That's how you're monitoring as an entity. That's what they're doing, and they are engaged in surveillance together. 7PID675. That's how group stalking works. That's how the entity is monitoring through the people. ZACMXC 54495 Y1. And they are stalkers. They engage in the ongoing demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with activity, stalking with light. All right. They act with the same immediacy as the state does with helicopters, as the state does with its fake sun, as the state does with its amplified and artificial activity. The people of the state are stalkers just the same. They go out of their way to maintain a diligent effort to keep me surrounded. They are in every way stalkers and paying very close attention. It's demon possession. 7MVA 619. 8TJR252. And the false premise is that the anonymity, all right, the fact that it's a group. This is an unheard of method of stalking, but this is how the entity is doing it. That's how they do it. 4CGL144. 4GNM806. And let me be clear, when I'm speaking entity, that is a legal term, yes, the public entity, but I also want to speak, this is a demonic entity as well. Both apply. HKV0928, that's a Texas plate. 00416C1, Right on Time LLC. Alvarez Trucking, I believe. Can't really see that. Alrighty, that's P.O.C. It is currently 8:18 a.m. And by the way, with this documented act, just like I show with every as I consistently demonstrate through my documentation is so valuable because the facts speak for themselves. You have what is the impossibility that the actual sun would ever be over 2500 Archibald Avenue when it is remaining over me at Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue and 507 East Euclid just yesterday. All right, being over 507 East Euclid is in no way possible to coexist with being over 2500 Archibald Avenue. The state's movement of a light source over my head does not make that possible. That's just a psychopath stalker moving its light, which also has no defense for that impossibility of activity. It is the direct evidence against not only the state is already prosecuted. This is the state's criminal pattern of conduct that is the template for the prosecution of the people. All right, they are engaging in it, and they are engaging in the identical behavioral patterns together. It's the direct evidence against the entity, the direct evidence. 7RVE 776, 8RIY 506, 8VRP 173, 7ALV 117, 54240X1, I believe. 8VEA 317, 8VQB 724, 7UXA 237, 8234 L01, 8EBK 742. All right, you already know about Omnitrans. You already know about these commercial vehicles. I'm focusing on these third parties riding around in their private vehicles with children. They're stalkers and they're sex offenders. They need to be identified. 8UHR625, 8TWW793, Downtown Ontario Home Association. You already know about them. License 8WNV120, 7YWE776. 6TVX361, 8RQA731, 8XFY231, 9F92897, SDG Trucking number 107041, Impossible Light all over the asphalt in the street as they're crossing path. Holiday Rock something Inc. I can't really see that, but that's audible activity under the fake sun. 67620M2. 7ZZD168, audible activity under the fake sun in relevant position. All right, not only do they create it, but the state amplifies it and artificially creates it while they are present. All right, so they're supposed to be the guise of what is the sound of traffic. 6NEU 883, 7TQM 485. I'm about to say, please do it, please. Go ahead. 8DFZ 485. Thank you. 8KCE 066, 6HDH 971. 8WKF 675. So I want to show you the state's fake sun moving across the street as I do. Let me show you this in video. All right, I just captured in video, and I just explained a common sense aspect. And I did 8SQG 558, 8NVV 264, 7LKA 519, 19819Y2. So this vehicle that's proceeding north on Euclid Avenue, the state's fake sun is remaining stationary right here next to me. And this is what I was describing in my video. And I did kind of get a little speechy with that, but I was explaining a very important point. Like, this is pivotal, and it's common sense, it's logic, right? This is the issue with the state. It's just plain wickedness. It's not witty. It's not intelligent. It's not sophisticated. It is not intricate. It is just wicked. That is it. And desperate. I mean, you're talking about some obsessive level, demented stalking conduct, all right? By the people, by a government using unheard of methods such as planes and helicopters, all right? Stalking with noise. What type of weird crap is that? That's the weird crap that the entity is engaging in, all right? And stalking with light. Stalking with light, that's straight out of hell, okay? That's how you think of that. That's demon conduct. That's demonic activity by a government. So I want to speak to what I was describing in my video is the fact that as they are driving, for example, north and south on Euclid Avenue, the sun is not remaining in their windows, remaining in alignment with them as they are in motion, moving anywhere, right? They are moving away, and the light source is remaining stationary. We are not in the similar position at all as they are in motion. And you can make the same comparison with anyone that is on foot as I am. It is not a comparison. They are not being targeted by light, right? They are under the light while they're around me because I am the target. While they proceed traveling in any direction, the light does not remain over them as light. The sun does not remain over everyone's head everywhere that you're going. That is not the sun. That's not what the sun is. That's not what the sun does. Okay. And so this is just common sense. And this is also that which is clearly, it's a glaring issue in the state's conduct with light. And so you're speaking to what is that which I said, it's not intelligent at all. And it defies common sense. And it shows a level of very highly demented and depraved and very disturbed conduct. It's revealing a very disturbed mindset, a very disturbed people, all right? Because you have what is 8LNA463 EV320. That's a handicap plate. And so as you are in motion, as you're moving, and no one is in a comparable position, the sun is not over everyone else, like third parties like to say, oh, it's over everyone. Actually, no, it's not. While they're in motion, it's proceeding. They are proceeding past it. The state's light source remains over me where I am. Okay, that is not what is occurring with license plate 6UEH243. As they proceed toward the 10 freeway, the state's fake sun remains right here at Holt Boulevard. That's not the same. That is not the same. And the state's fake sun is not remaining over as that, for example, that third party drives to, say they are working in Redlands, California. The fake sun is not over their head in Redlands while I remain here at Holt Boulevard in Ontario, and the state's fake sun is over my head as well. That is not the case. It is not remaining over your head everywhere that you're going. This is not the shared circumstance of third parties and the one who is being targeted by the state. The state's light source is remaining central over me, remaining central over the location, and remaining for the duration of a day because the state is monitoring with light. The sun is not remaining over everyone else over your head in this zenith. I've shown that it's not just over me, but it's over the location of the museum. All right, it's not just over me while I'm standing at it's over the entrance of the door where I'm standing. How many times have I shown this? It's very, very specific where the state is. The same stalking conduct with planes and helicopters. It's very, very specific to where I am at. In addition to that audible activity, it's very, very specific to where I am at. Okay, that is not the same circumstance as third parties. They are indeed third parties. They are present where this environment is being perpetuated for their criminal purposes. All right, the sun does not remain over everybody's head that's traveling. It doesn't remain over everyone's head everywhere that they're going. All right, that's just common sense. And so this is that is the revealing of the P.O.C. And like I said, that is how also, in addition to the light activity, you're talking about 3 and 4. What type of sunlight creates 4 shadows all around your body? And what type of street lamps create multiple shadows all around you, like I have shown in tons of videos? All right, the light activity, that is also telling on everyone around, okay? So like I said, it's not even just this illogical conduct with the fake sun. It is, in addition, the light activity that I am documenting, and it is speaking to what the people are engaging in. While I am walking down the street, you're seeing these bars of directed light that are spanning across the sidewalk. That is telling what 77918H2 is doing. There's a reason why that light activity exists. And there's a reason why I am under what is a light source that is central over me as I'm traveling anywhere, which is not the case with everyone else. The sun is not remaining over everyone's head everywhere that they're going. That's impossible. That is impossible. All right? So I want to document Amtrak since they came up close. This is Amtrak bus number 4653. It says Bakersfield, driven by, it looks like a Latino male. He's bald. This is, it says Amtrak San Joaquin's. Amtrak engaging in ongoing substantial stalking conduct all night. That's terrorism by that state actor. The state using the presence of Amtrak train tracks to engage in federal stalking, to engage in harassment. License plate P as in Paul 802814. All right, that's the Amtrak bus that is driving what is north on Euclid Avenue from Hope Boulevard. And so I want to be clear, those are not Amtrak train station picking up customers of the Amtrak at all the times that I documented overnight. All right, over and over and over again, the state is stalking with conduct. And by the way, that's not brand new. I just went on ahead and documented it because I felt like it overnight. The state is engaging in that routinely. All right, I have, like I stated in my documentation, I have documented 19, 20 times the state is engaging in sounding the train. And not only is that numerosity telling, you're speaking about the timing with which the state is engaging in this high frequency use of a train. All right, and this is with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my phone. This is with simultaneity to any sudden movements that I'm making. It's stalking with activity conduct. That's literally demonic activity and using the method of train noise. It's demonic. It does not matter that you're a company. That's demon possession. People are operating these trains. People are operating these vehicles. People are operating are working at these companies. All right. So you're understanding what demon possession is. AVFC 505, and it is not in any way discriminant on whatever position or whatever title you think you hold. Demon possession is that which is indiscriminate, and that's what this is rooted in. It's rooted in that which is of Satan. All right. So third parties walking around under the fake sun. The fake sun doesn't remain over their head. All right, while they go into, for example, Metro 102 apartments, it's not over Metro 102 apartments like it is when I'm there. The state's fake sun is over me at Starbucks while I'm there. When I leave Metro 102 apartments, the state's fake sun is no longer over that Metro 102 apartment building, located exactly where I'm at. All right, just like you saw as I move step by step from the museum. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently 8:33 a.m. And that is documentation also of what is Amtrak engaging in federal stalking using a vehicle under the state's fake sun. Omnitrans license 1545805, impossible light activity. That's an assault that they just engaged in, the commercial actor that's engaged in kidnapping, that is engaged in ongoing harassment, and that is terrorism, and that's an assault with impossible light. Light streaming across the sidewalk and over the asphalt while they are driving north on Euclid beside me, while the fake sun is right in front of me. So this is, again, that laser-like treatment with light, like light is bouncing off of their car or bouncing off of the bus, and it's bars of light, just like I showed inside of Starbucks on the wall, just like you saw on the Starbucks sign yesterday while the Ontario Fire Department were stalking, showing that they're psychopaths when all the environment is letting you know what is actually ongoing. They're psychopath weirdos. While that light activity occurs, Omnitrans engaging in that same demonic conduct, engaging in what is an assault. That's assigned to the brand. That's assigned to that third party. And that's bus number 2362. That's an assault with light. That's terrorism. All right, and they are also engaged in sexual violence. The state is molesting my body right now while the entity is monitoring me. That's a group touching. This is a ginormous orgy by people I do not know who are stalking together and terrorizing together, also engaging in kidnapping and theft of property, everything that I own. This is the most violent sex offender that you can fathom. It's the government, all right? They're engaging in all of that at the same time. It is currently 8:34 a.m. That is P.O.C. 43508 Frank 2. Alrighty, I am making point after point with regard to the light activity, and I'm going from camera to podcast. So, I mean, it's documentation. It's better to see. In my opinion, it's better to see, because especially when you're talking about something as demented as this, it is unbelievable that a people would engage in something as sick as this. But demon possession is real, and it needs to be understood. But secondly, it is also something that should also be witnessed with your own eyes, because some things are just not adequately described, and I'm very good with descriptions. Okay, I can be very, very precise with prescriptions, precise with descriptions. All right, precise with words. But sometimes you need to see it, and I believe that this is something that you need to witness with your eyes. You need to see it. All right, so there is no mistake about what I say is occurring is exactly what's occurring, and it is impossible that it is a natural occurrence. It is impossible. All right. That is not natural. This is unnatural. In fact, it is satanic. And it is described as stalking in all manners that one can fathom. All right? Stalking with what you can see, stalking with what you can hear, stalking with what you can feel, stalking by people physically, stalking chronologically with what they do as they do it. That's entirely demonic. Understand, this is form for what is amplified audible activity at a construction site under the fake sun. This is how the entity systematically monitors. All right? And these are, I want to get their license plates. I like to document them because they're the ones who really think they're persuasive and they don't have any form. State's Fake Sun is right over me right now at B Street. So they're at 200 North Euclid and they're monitoring. And understand, the state adds on to the activity creation. 7L34326. That's proof of audible activity under the fake sun. This is Steel Fab. All right, I did capture video of that. I wanted to get another excellent example as to what is the absence of form, state's criminal pattern of conduct that's underway. And I wanted to get an example of the ongoing systematic methods of monitoring. You can be doing anything that you want. The state will use it as form to turn up the volume of it. And to create artificial activity mimicking what you're looking at. You're talking, so you're supposed to assume, oh, that's the sound of the train that is that loud, and that's the train that's vibrating the sidewalk, because, I mean, there's a train track back there. And that is the actual, I mean, you are in all ways abandoning any independent thought and common sense in doing so. And that is not the case, okay? So, but I can understand one who is being terrorized by a government and not having the presence of mind to even think through that, okay? So my thing is, I'm not going to call anyone stupid or anything like that, especially when you're in that state of fear. This is what the government intends by engaging in criminal activity via police, engaging in criminal activity via the people. All right, you have a multiplicity of faces and they're all stalking together and they're doing it maliciously. All right, and intending to terrorize you while they're doing it in the environment that is intentionally designed for their convenience to do so systematically. This is how you can maintain anonymity, but absolutely no anonymity, because they are all tethered to what is the pattern of conduct, what are criminal elements, and what is an ongoing environment, speaking to the absence of any coincidence or chance or any separation from that ongoing criminal pattern of conduct, right? And what you're listening to right now is that same construction scene while I'm at Wells Fargo. That's called amplification. That is the very demonic activity that I stated while I was standing right there in front of them. All right, that was a demon-possessed individual you saw laughing about nothing that's funny. He's not actually entertained that he's being documented. He knows exactly what I'm doing, and there's nothing funny about it. Believe me, they're furious about it. License 8W42012, 7ROS682. That is how, if you really want to know, I can give you context. That is how the demon-possessed, that is how the defeated conduct themselves. It's called pride. All right? It is called the 8K09523. You have what are those who are literally caught in the middle of their roles, because this is all a stage, right? Acting like there's normalcy, and there is no normalcy under a fake sun, and that is a fake sun. So the question is, what are you doing under the fake sun? You're monitoring under the fake sun. You're monitoring someone who is being kept under that fake sun all day long, because you're not being kept under that fake sun. You come in and out of the presence of that. So we are not in the same circumstance. They are indeed third parties. The sun does not remain over everyone's head everywhere that they're going all day long. Not even on Holt Boulevard. It doesn't remain over everybody on everywhere that they're going in the city of Ontario. It remains over me. That is not the same circumstance. It is not comparable. And that is not the actual sun that does that. The actual sun does not remain over people all day long, everywhere that you're going. If you want to say, oh, it's not just me, you're a narcissist. I'm making everything about me. No, then make it everybody. The sun would be remaining over everybody's head all day long, everywhere that they go, even if they stay in the city of Ontario. And that's not the case. All right. When I go to the library, the state's fake sun is there. When anyone else leaves the library and I stay there, the state's fake sun stays over the library. It doesn't leave with them. It doesn't stay over their head while they travel and get in their car somewhere else. And it is impossible and ridiculous to try to argue, to try to contend that the sun is over, for example, Woodside Senior Apartments, directly over your head, at the same time that it is directly over your head while you are at an entirely different address, which would be, for example, Mercy House. And this is what the state has done, remaining directly over for the duration of a day at each address at the same time. This is impossible. They're monitoring. And it's demonic activity. It's terrorism. That environment is designed to terrorize an individual, and it is also designed to silence, because the ordinary target individual, having no way to even reason through that conduct, just knowing that it's weird and creepy and scary, right? And ordinarily understand third parties, absent documentation, oh, they're very emboldened. Listen to my documentation back in 2019 and 2018 when the lawyers and attorneys that I worked with, when property management, these I won't even call any names, I'll be professional, these low-life employees that I worked with, all right, where I'm overqualified to be even around all of them, okay, doing property management, you have what is boldness, okay? I documented it, all right, thinking that they are impervious to being documented, impervious to being prosecuted. That's when they were really bold. They have never heard of what is occurring and what's going to happen to them. That's the reality of the people of the state. I have captured them in their true form, all right, wicked. All right, absent documentation, it's a whole other story. It's a whole other story, and I have captured the people of the state of California in their true form. All right, and not only that, I have experienced them prior to my knowledge of that I was being monitored for years. 5XPB578, 8WLC 369, 8CEEO11, 7W KX996. 5ZXG062, 4UPF415, 7DJE102. It is 8:46 a.m. BB4 U3D 8 HOY 821. That was the number 8 HOY 821. CVA 972 37793 R2. Alrighty, 8:47 a.m. 5 WBR 803. Five STD 210, I believe. 6 FVT 910. 4 LEP 279. 6 BJN 436. 5X38 432. 6 UEL 365. 8 EJP 748. 8 NCP 751. 2 WQW 845. 8 WYE 550. F734MO. So it is 8:47 a.m. and I want to show you what is the state's fake sun in direct alignment to me at the location where I stood yesterday afternoon, and I showed you how the state's fake sun was above me at the intersection of C Street and Euclid, and how it was not over anymore the Starbucks 570 Euclid Avenue. All right, and how it was not over where it is already supposed to be at, documented presence and documented, remaining presence for the duration of a day over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, over the Ontario Town Square, over the 280 North Limit Apartments, over the Senior Center, not even on that side of the street, not nowhere in that area. It's over across the street. It's above me. It's above me where I'm at. There is no mistaking any depth or distance with the state's fake sun directly over me. It's not even in that direction of the library, first of all. Second of all, right now at 8:48 a.m., the state's fake sun is facing me over my head while I'm standing at the same intersection. And I want to be clear, what is the state suggesting? What is the supposition with this? You're supposing that the actual sun is remaining on C Street, but actually you're not even suggesting that, because the fake sun is not even remaining on C Street. The fake sun actually went from Starbucks located at 507 Euclid Avenue to the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library at 215 East C Street. And that's where it remained for the duration of the day. And then it went right back up to the Starbucks, the same address where I captured it. I showed you on video for your own eyes to see. And this is what the state is supposing. But I just want to be clear. You're just looking at hours later. It's 8:49 in the morning. All right. And this is after we're approaching 2 p.m. yesterday, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Okay, this is over 6 hours later, and the state is suggesting that the actual sun is on the same street of C Street, because this is where I'm standing. So I'm going to show you video. All right, that large truck, well, it's not just that truck, but it was clearly visible because the truck was so large. And under the fake sun, a very pronounced shadow, just like I showed, for example, as I'm sitting outside of the senior apartments, 280 North Limit Apartments, and you see those stalkers with the bookcase at 11 o'clock at night to create audible activity, stalking with the state that uses a directed light outside. That's supposed to be the street lamp. That's like a motion light. Okay, this is simultaneity of action. The street lamps outside are not motion lights. This is the state stalking with light under the guise of, and it's not a guise, but I'm just speaking to, this is how the entity operates. What is this license plate? 7P55482. And this is while they're pushing that bookcase, you see their shadows in motion. First of all, they have shadows on both sides. Pay attention to my videos. Look at the light activity, what the state is doing with light. It's directed light. You're looking at a psychopath because they want to get by and just look like they're just walking by. The light activity is telling on them. It is telling on them. All right? You're looking at a psychopath that is caught. All right? And it don't matter whether they're in a commercial vehicle. It doesn't matter whether they're in their own vehicle. Frontier right now is engaging in federal stalking. All right? Setting up shop. using their vehicles as a means of light activity, flashing lights, satanic conduct. Let's get their license plates. 8N54428. This is Frontier Communications, vehicle 210730059. California number 0034683. License plate 8S63511. License plate. This is Frontier Communications engaging in the same demonic conduct. Remember when I showed you I was surrounded with the vehicles using their hazards as I walked down the street? That's exactly what Frontier Communications is doing right now. It does not matter whether you're driving a private vehicle or a commercial. License 24370A3. That's P.O.C. This is criminal facilitation of federal stalking by Frontier Communications. This is federal stalking conduct, stalking with light. All right, that's demonic activity. That's letting you know that these are demon-possessed drivers of a commercial vehicle, okay? You can be a demon-possessed driver of your own vehicle. It's demon possession, all right? They are under the fake sun. That is indicative of demon possession, all right? They are acting in conformity to the pattern of conduct. By the way, just as YouTube is doing, while they are not in relevant position, they are on the venue of the internet acting in conformity to the state's pattern of conduct. Let me let you know, that is also revealing of demon possession. They don't have to be in relevant position. This is a satanic system at its core. In any way, acting complicit to it is speaking to what is demonic possession. You're not engaging in a fictitious prosecution because you are in any way separate from the state's ongoing pattern of conduct, and criminal obstruction of justice is the pattern of conduct. All right? That is revealing what is demon possession. You know them by what they're doing. By what they are doing. Okay? And they're not just driving around, no, not under a fake sun, not where the state is stalking with planes and helicopters, not where the people are engaging in stalking in unheard of ways, all right? Stalking with noise just like the state does with the train, just like the state does with the helicopter, just like the state does with the planes. They're doing the exact same thing, using private and commercial vehicles, using their places of business. The same demon possession, all right? It's a demonic entity. It's a public entity. Monitoring. That's Frontier Communications. So, like I said, it is currently 8:57 a.m. And so what the state is doing, it's moving north up Euclid Avenue. The state is keeping its, and I mean, like I have already said, I'm not even going to stress because it already exists. It's already been published. This is ongoing documentation of what is terrorism. This is you cannot quantify what the government is engaged in. All right, there's prosecution. You cannot quantify it, and it certainly requires, as a matter of justice. Oh, people are losing their freedom. You're going to prison. All right, but in addition to that, you cannot quantify what the state is as a matter of making right, trying to make whole one that is subject to this sort of system. You can't even quantify it. This is ongoing documentation that has surpassed establishing what the state is engaging in. All right, so this ongoing stalking with light conduct, this ongoing stalking in concert with the people, this ongoing stalking via aircraft, via police, oh my goodness, that's in violation of existing law and policy that I intend to enforce, okay? This is speaking to what is the necessary methods of punishment and deterrence, in addition to dismantle, all right? Speaking to what is that which shall be very undesirable to even be associated with, being a group stalker. It's a very, very weighty title. License plate 8SKF843, 7JDK948. EBL 441, 5WEP 260, 8SYR 535, 8VJU 765, 7VYV 767, 6YKF 698, alrighty. Just want to be clear, what the state is doing with its fake sun is what the state was doing with its fake moon last night. As I exited and I caught video of that, the state's fake moon is fake. The state's fake moon, because that was not the moon, and it's not the moon that's in the same exact position as the fake sun right now. They're on the same side of the street. They are in the same position relative to me. The state is just moving up and down with this light source. All right, letting you know how everyone is focused on me. All right, while they're maintaining presence. That's what they're doing. They're maintaining presence and they're maintaining activity. It's a bunch of demons monitoring together. all right? And guess what? They're all touching and creating audible activity while they're touching. They're all sex offenders, in addition to the fact that they are engaged in surveillance while you're in the bathroom. 65716A1. 6AIM882 wants to make a lot of noise. He's a violent sex offender. 8UIE231. 47302B3. That's the same license plate. That goes toward the people. That same demonic entity is operating over all of them. You get one, you get all of them. That's what happens when you partner engaging in criminal activity. That's what happens, especially with the government. That's Frontier creating light activity and audible activity. 32385R2. 7388 7W2. 8LMM287. It is 9:01 a.m. And like I said, as I documented being on the side of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, the state's fake sun right now is on the opposite side of it's impossible that I would even be able to see it, as I am on the side of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, and I am looking south at what is the fake sun next to me over the senior center, over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, while I remain there. Here's the state's fake sun. I'll show you right now. Alrighty. Documented that. They're stalking with light. They're just waiting for me to do something, and then the traffic light turns green. The entire system is centered around me. 7VCF016. 8UEY554, making a U-turn. That's another means of patrolling. All right. And like I stated, at E Street right now on Euclid Avenue, not even possible for the fake sun to be over the corner of the south side of the museum. 7VPV959. Frontier Communications is a company engaging in sexual violence, terrorism, criminal facilitation of federal stalking, as well as federal stalking. Using those commercial vehicles to stalk with light in the middle of the intersection, where they remain in relevant position while I'm inside of the Starbucks, okay? Very specific that they're there, okay? License plate. 5YZN187. 8UDV300. Group stalkers at Starbucks on surveillance camera, sitting outside on their phone, monitoring a relevant position. They're monitoring with Frontier. They're monitoring with patrolling traffic. They're monitoring with the third parties at Chevron, at Arco. All right, inside of these businesses, they're all monitoring. Just want to be clear. And I'm just speaking to my presence, and that's how prosecution is going to go anyway, because it's not just where I'm at, it's the whole vicinity of where I'm at, and that's exactly how I have tailored the documentation. Okay, so it is currently 9:05 a.m. Fake sun is very far from the intersection of Euclid and Holt, where I stand, and it's over my head. I'm not pointing my camera up toward E Street or Euclid Avenue. Euclid and E Street in this direction at 9 o'clock when I'm standing at the intersection documenting minions. I'm aiming my phone straight up. It is right over my head when I'm down there by the health center, when I'm down there by the transit and Euclid Avenue, and it's right over me, okay? This is impossible to be over the south side of the corner of the museum. It's very specific to my location where it is, and it is not there, and it's not remaining there because I am not there, okay? This is why the state engages in making what are quote-unquote cloudy days. But there is no getting out of it. I've already established this point. I'm just thorough, and I continue to make the point over and over again because it is a pattern that exists, and the pattern doesn't stop. This is going to prosecution. It is, by definition, a pattern that is continuous. Creating what are fake cloudy days, because it's not actually cloudy. It's just that the state doesn't want it to be known, first of all, or hear me make point after point after point. But not only that, it is daytime and you are not seeing an actual sun hovering over everywhere that you're going. So the state is covering up its light source, which, by the way, it also engages in just piercing through its fake clouds over me, changing the color of that light activity. All right, but the reality is it's daytime, and you don't have to have the sun over your head to know that it's daytime, and the sun is not over everybody everywhere that they're going. All right, that's P.O.C. At Starbucks, where they're monitoring on surveillance cameras.
Oops.
No, a black girl, she's only 17 years old. Her teacher, high school teacher, told him, hey, you guys,
That's audible activity. Everything you're looking at, I'm sorry, everything you're listening to is audible activity. Excuse me.
recently came up with that, because apparently.
And directed light on the. Alright, impossible lights. Not only was it on the ceiling, you saw it like the size of the dollar. Moving rapidly across the top of the wall. That employee was walking past in front of me. Which is audible activity. Talking with activity in the front before. You have a high button on your head, blonde hair. You walk outside where the patio furniture is. It's currently 9:10 a.m. Alrighty, I did capture. Okay, I've got my microphone now. I'm not sure how long that was muffled, but I did capture what is the means of the third parties at Starbucks stalking with light. And this is impossible light activity. This patio furniture area, it's covered with it's underneath the covering. And you have what is the state engaging in? Horizontally aimed light. The sun is not, and this is the fake sun again. The fake sun is not over, and this is based on the light activity. This is not the sun that would be over a structure. This is light that is being aimed horizontally through the spaces of that structure that would create light that's hitting the door, the glass door, such that it's creating this expansive light activity as they open and close the door, all right, which is providing for the criminal elements as they are systematically patrolling in and out, and doing so with also real-time knowledge of what I'm doing. This is demons acting in concert, okay, engaging in criminal activity. So you can go on ahead. You can go on ahead. Go on ahead. I'm documenting, yeah. So you have what is the impossibility of this light. That's what I'm saying. It's counterintuitive. You have what the actual sun is above structures. It's not aiming light horizontally through the windows. It's in a downward trajectory, and that would result in shade in that shaded area where the patio furniture is. And the door is also tinted, and it is under that shaded walkway. This is impossible light activity. It is serving for their patrolling and stalking conduct, okay? I just want to be clear. And in addition to that, as I'm walking inside of the building, to the north and the south end, I'm sitting at what would be the north end of the Starbucks, and the patio area is at the south end of the Starbucks. And as I'm in motion, just as I'm walking up the street, just like with the fake moon, and like I showed with the fake sun, the state's light source is moving from being at the north end of the Starbucks to being at the south end of the Starbucks. Pay attention as I exit and enter the venue. Where's the state's fake sun? Right over me at the entrance, okay? This is ongoing migration. While you have an ongoing carnival of lights inside, they are monitoring, and this is terrorism by Starbucks, the brand, and this is demonic activity amongst the people. All right, that is also terrorism, but I want to speak to, and that lets you know that they're all sex offenders as well. That's P.O.C. And for the ordinary target individual, that is a formula for an egregious level of violation. The absolute absence of normalcy, the entire environment which the ordinary target individual would be aware of, while possibly not prepared to analyze it to that degree, all right, or break it down, but it's designed to terrorize. All right, while they are outwardly conducting themselves as though nothing is ongoing, that's a threat in and of itself. All right, this is showing the threat of the people. All right, they are psychopaths intentionally present in this environment, monitoring with the government. All right, that's a threat to the life, and that's terrorism. And this is the brand Starbucks engaging in that and facilitating it. It is 9:16 a.m. All right, I just captured on video just some license plates of third parties that are parked outside in the venue. Outside of the venue, and speaking to what is ongoing light activity inside of the venue, flashing of light while minions are surrounding, staring at his laptop like it's not happening. Fake sun is over the venue like it's not there, and that's the demonic activity. That's a psychopath, okay? That's the stalker. You have what is the ongoing molestation with impossible light activity. And so I stepped outside to get license plates, and I want to speak to what was harassment by a third party who was monitoring, who is a sex offender, who is a stalker, telling me not to use my phone, okay, while you have this environment that's present, all right? She's engaged in criminal activity, telling me, do not document my criminal activity. That's essentially what she's saying. That is an unlawful threat, and that's Starbucks, okay? She speaks as Starbucks, she speaks as the people. It's 9:47 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, what I just captured on video was the state's fake sun keeping in alignment with me. All right, this is positional. All right, engaging in positioning with the light source where I am inside of the venue. Okay, and so as I showed in video, while I'm standing at the counter waiting for my food and my drink that I ordered, state's fake sun is on the opposite side of the Starbucks in direct alignment with me as the stalker in 8SQG155, the African American male, who's in direct alignment parked behind me. He's engaging in relevant positioning. You see the fake sun directly over his car while he's in direct alignment while I'm standing at that counter. State's fake sun is on the opposite side of the Starbucks. I'm sitting on the north end. The state's fake sun is in direct alignment to me while I'm sitting at the north end. So this is the movement of the light source, just like you see outside, okay? I just want to point out the obvious. The state's fake sun is not possibly over the museum over the south side where I've captured in video day after day after day, and both over the over the position that I'm sitting inside of the Starbucks, where I'm located at right now. That's called stalking with light, like I've already established, in addition to the directed light. All right, understand directed light, the state is aiming light all over the place. It's like a movie production. And this is the state is aiming light all over. It is not the single source of what is the fake sun. The fake sun is a means of not only identifying me, and it is a means of light, but the state is aiming light in multiple directions. This is how you have shadows in multiple on different sides all around you. Okay, light trajected in different location. And sorry, in different at different angles. Excuse me. So I just want to be clear, pointing out the obvious. Where did I come from? The museum. State's fake sun is supposed to be remaining over that location as I captured it while I'm at the museum. It's over doing the same thing over the south end of the museum at the tip where I am sleeping. Right? It's over there at 10 o'clock. It's 9:55 a.m. and right now it's over Starbucks. Over the Starbucks where I am sitting and moving up and down outside of the building in alignment with me while I'm in the Starbucks. Okay, just want to be clear on that. That's not possible to coexist with being over the edge of the side of the museum. All right, let alone the Ontario Open Family Community Library, Shiro's Liquor, the B&G Plaza. All right, et cetera, et cetera. This is it's also supposed to be over Mercy House, documented conduct. All right. This is P.O.C, and that is a third party out of her mouth, which was audible activity, which she wants to threaten with her audible activity. I'm going to prosecute her and Starbucks for that while they're monitoring and molesting, like the sex offenders that they are. That's P.O.C. It's 9:56 a.m. All right, I just want to document 10:09 a.m. You've got ongoing incidents of flashing light while the employee walks by, walking to the back counter. She's crossing path at the same time. He or she is crossing path at the same time as flashing light is touching my person, and flashing light is ongoing while they are patrolling inside of the Starbucks and patrolling in traffic. All right, like I said, this is just an intentional. This is intent to terrorize and harass, and every single last employee and every single last person inside of this venue, who are all on surveillance camera, and inside and outside, are monitoring, and this is demonic activity. All right, and it's currently 10:11. I just want to document that ongoing use of light to harass and terrorize at 10:09 a.m. Right, let me document 8ACK344, 6MTX425, BJOOT87, that's paper, 8DXP665, 8GVB626, X636CO, 6LJB138, 8TPA087. They're all monitoring in the drive-thru. They're in relevant position. The state is hitting me with light while I'm inside. They're in relevant position in the drive-thru. 6ZUJ485, 5GEK719, 8LQM802. They're all engaged in sexual violence. They're all engaged in terrorism. They're all engaged in harassment. 8NYM139. Excuse me. Let me get on through here. Thank you. 8BRE394. 7RIY198, 7BNG587, 7ERG350, 8UWL985, 8R23739, 8VXL310, 8NTN641, 7CPX834, 5TML181, 8EOH706,
7RIY198. It's 10:19 a.m. Okay, 7NMM797. We got another stalker back here. So the fake sun is on the opposite side of the building. I just showed you where I'm standing on Euclid Avenue. The fake sun is over there, right, over me. As I move back, meaning as I come back here to the parking lot, state's fake sun is not over Euclid over anymore. It's right here. And in addition, let me see, this impossible light activity you see on this wall next to these vehicles, that is impossible to occur if that was actually the sun that was on Euclid Avenue. That's not the sun that is migrating as I walk from the Euclid Avenue and I move what is would be west, walking toward the parking lot. And this is directed light that's on their vehicles that's manifesting onto the wall. All right, 7NMY184 doing the exact same thing that the other third party did. Okay, that impossible light activity is what brings them all together. They're one actor, one entity. Okay, it's P.O.C. N059TO 8VVX413 7HPW305. Just want to make sure I get everybody. Yeah, and she looks like a demon possessed one. She got holes all in her face. Let's see. It is currently, I'm going to make sure I get this 8TPA087. Make sure I get all these license plates. They're just having a good old time inside. Make sure we identify them. Stalking sitting in the car, 8PDF43. 8PDF434. Sorry, excuse me. Just posted in the car, waits until I cross path, and then he gets out and closes his door, and he's entering on surveillance cameras. That's called stalking. That's a stalking conduct. And the state's fake sun moves back up to Euclid Avenue. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently 10:22 a.m. All right, you got a third-party group stalker. She is on camera with a stroller. All right, so a white female with a blonde ponytail. She's monitoring while I'm being assaulted with impossible light activity. Not only is she using babies for audible activity, you have her engaging in presence while the impossible light activity is ongoing. That's intentional conduct on the part of the people as well. While you see what is supposed to look like a study group and impossible light activity moving in the shade, all right, while they are surrounding with noise and patrolling back and forth. How are they patrolling? Going to get their food, their drinks, patrolling while they're moving the chairs back and forth. Patrolling while they are present while the state is aiming impossible light inside of the venue. That's P.O.C. And she is exiting the venue at 10:52 a.m. And they are, you'll see it's a little study group. They've all got laptops. Those are communication devices while the state is stalking with light, and they're patrolling, acting in concert with that impossible light activity. And if they utter one word, I'll document that too. It is 10:52 a.m. That's P.O.C. Say something. All right, I'm taking images of third parties as they are patrolling, and you can see the directed light that's on the surfaces, and you've already seen the video of the ongoing directed light, and you see the state's fake sun, which remains over this venue. So I'm taking pictures of third parties as they're patrolling and stalking with activity. So what you have is the third party employee as she's crossing path. You also have what is vibration on the seats, just like I documented last night. This is another means of harassment. This is understand, I'm just letting you know what Starbucks is into, okay? They're engaging in the exact pattern of conduct of what is speaking to demon-possessed psychopaths, all right? The vibration of, excuse me, do you know what's causing the vibration back here? Excuse me, do you work here? Do you know what's back here? Are you guys beating on the walls or something? Oh, because the seat's vibrating. And it's loud banging. You said what? Oh, they're doing the dishes, and that's what's causing sensational activity while she is standing in front of relevant position in directed light. So I'm gonna take a picture of that as well. What I was speaking to was this third party is patrolling. This is Starbucks, all right? She's patrolling back and forth to the bathroom. Sensational activity on my seat.
surrounded by third-party patrons inside of the venue, and directed light is on the ground as she's patrolling. And at the same time that she is patrolling, you have what is flashing of light. This is impossible light activity, and there's no photo shoot going on in here. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct, ongoing use of light in this manner. It's P.O.C. It's 11:14. Okay, I just want to go on ahead and document what is the ongoing activity, because they're going to be answering for it when they're prosecuted. So after I address that sensational activity, which was the booming and banging through the wall and vibration of the seat, this is called sensational activity and audible activity. This is also called harassment and terrorism. And this is while directed light is inside of the venue and while the state's fake sun is over the venue. This is monitoring. And as you heard me address it, ask her about it, it got louder after I addressed it, okay? And then what I capture is, or what I'm seeing is, what I witness are they're patrolling in the bathroom. So one is in the bathroom, she's waiting outside. After she patrolled herself, she goes to the bathroom, outside of the bathroom, back to the bathroom, outside of the bathroom. One goes in the bathroom, she comes out, and she goes in the bathroom. That's patrolling. They're patrolling back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Sensational activity through the wall, and this is heard through the wall. The state targets noise, okay? So it can sound like it's coming from one place, but the state is surrounding with audible activity, okay? So nonetheless, what you have is ongoing noise, vibration of the seat, patrolling of demons in front of me, directed light all around, okay? That's P.O.C, and I just want to document that. All right, I just captured on video 11:44 a.m. on. So you're gonna want to pay attention to that. I mean, the whole picture's already. I mean, I've made a beautiful portrait, lining out point by point what the state is doing with light. So at 11:44, I just stepped outside of 507 Euclid Avenue. The Starbucks where they're engaging in heavy satanic conduct, stalking with their presence, getting up to go anywhere inside of the building in order to cross path, while impossible light remains, while the fake sun remains over the Starbucks. And by the way, the state's fake sun being over 507 Euclid Avenue is not going to result in what is directed light down the elevator and down the staircase of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. That's concentrated light, and that is the state aiming light. And I just want to be clear, the actual sun is not over the library, and the fake sun is not over the library. And being over 507 Euclid Avenue at the time when I am documenting presence over me while I'm at the same time at that address at 215 E.C. Street, and the state is aiming directed light down that walkway. That's for purposes of monitoring, also remaining for hours, 11 a.m. up until late after 3:30 p.m. All right, while I'm using the computers. This is what the state is doing with impossible light activity. I just want to be clear, that is not that which is resulting from even the fake sun being over the building. I'm here north of the library, and you have what is the presence of the state's fake sun remaining at this location, and that the sun being here is not going to result, the fake sun being here is not going to result in directed concentrated light, and the actual sun that's in the sky is not going to even create that light activity down the walkway. All right, so I just wanted to bring that point up because you're looking at more than one venue, but I was capitalizing on the documentation of the Ontario Police Department. They are demon-possessed psychopaths, stalkers, kidnappers, sex offenders, all right, have no business in law enforcement. And this is revealing what is that which is plaguing that entire agency, all right. I just have happened to have opportunity to document particular actors. This is speaking to what is pervasive, all right, and it is indiscriminate. This is about the Ontario Police Department, all right. And so the state's light source at the same exact time, 11:44 a.m., documented presence at the same central location above my head at 2500 South Archibald Avenue, the Ontario Police Department, which is a state facilitating venue. I am at a third-party facilitating venue where the state is maintaining the same central presence above my head and also remaining for hours. You have it literally captured at the same location. I got up a while ago and documented a whole bunch of third-party license plates. The state's fake sun is in the same location since I got here after 8 a.m., okay? It's not moving. I just want to be clear. And in addition to that, you have what is literally the fake sun remaining on Euclid Avenue. Okay, it's supposedly rising on at the Ontario Museum of History and Art. That's on Euclid Avenue, and the state's fake sun is remaining on the same street. I mean, there are just so many ways where you can see what is the impossibility and the ridiculousness that the people of the state of California are engaging in, and it is the direct evidence against them. This is not circumstantial evidence; it's direct evidence for purposes of what is prosecuting criminal monitoring with communication devices. So this is speaking to what the state is engaging in, and in addition to what is the light activity, which is equally ridiculous. All right, but it's ridiculous. But I'm speaking of one that is capable of taking a step back and dicing it apart in order to understand what the entity is doing and why it's doing it, and what is also wrong with the entity as to why it's doing it. Okay, this is demon possession. All right, that is going to be translated as far as prosecution goes as terrorism. All right, so this is an environment that is engaging in ongoing harassment and terrorism, engaging in ongoing assault using its criminal instruments. Light, you're touching with it, you're a sex offender. All right, you're engaging in assault with it, threatening and harassing with it while you're hostile to being documented. And this is speaking to the ongoing relevant positioning by the third parties who don't have to say a word. They maintain presence, which is stalking, and there's no legal excuse from that. You can make all the coffee drinks you want. You can order all the coffee drinks you want. You can come in and buy and go through the drive-thru and get as many coffee drinks as you want. You're engaged in federal stalking, and that's why the environment is present, and it is present for your criminal activity, your cooperative criminal acts, and there is no claim of ignorance that is in any way excusing that. And so this is speaking to how the system operates. So what you have is the presence of the state's fake sun, and it's not just that it's over the building. You're looking at what the state is doing with its light source relative to me. It is not just where I am. It is very specific to my position, my location where I am. Right? The state's fake sun is not just remaining, by the way, over Euclid Avenue since 8 o'clock this morning. Not just remaining over the entrance of the Starbucks for hours. All right, you're talking about remaining in its zenith over my head. All right, this is absolutely impossible, and it is ridiculous, and it is speaking to the focus. What's the focus? The focus is deduced on the environment and the unnatural environment that is occurring. It's serving your criminal purpose, and it is interpreted, it's analyzed as what is terrorism, and this is speaking to what the people of the state are engaging in with it. All right, they're patrolling back and forth while impossible light activity is streaming all around inside, and they're acting like it's not happening. It's an arcade and carnival of lights on the inside. All right, psychopaths. All right, this is demonic activity, and it's criminal. All right, so you have what is the presence of the state's fake sun in its zenith above my head at the Ontario Police Department, the presence of the fake sun in its zenith above my head at third-party facilitating venue Starbucks located at 507 Euclid Avenue, and that's what I took a video of, and you're going to want to take a good look at that. You're witnessing what is not only public corruption, you are witnessing demon possession. This environment that I am pointing out, which any other person can notice, is just something that you have not noticed. You haven't noticed it because no one's pointed it out to you. All right, and once you are recognizing the pattern, because it's a pattern, and it is that which is not shared by everyone else. Everyone else that is in motion and moving away, the state's fake sun is not remaining over their head. All right, it's remaining where I remain. Everyone else can move away, and the state's fake sun is not remaining over everyone's head, centered above them everywhere that they're going. That's not the shared circumstance. The people are third parties acting in concert with the state that is keeping a light source above me and above the location where I'm at. They are all monitoring together. All right. So this is what you'll see in the video, and it is currently 11:57 a.m. Third parties are engaging in ongoing stalking conduct and acting with the state that has kept its light source, by the way, over Euclid Avenue, over the sidewalk. As I go to the parking lot, it's back there. As I go to the entrance, it's back there. As I walk north and south inside of the Starbucks, it's moving up and down. All right, but you are looking at what is the look at the video. It's remaining literally at the front of the Starbucks. It has not gone anywhere. And by the way, at this time, I have already heavily documented my presence somewhere else, which is not only Mercy House, you're talking about the library as well, okay? And this is impossible to coexist, being in its zenith above my head at all of these same places at the same time, okay? And so this is speaking to what the people of the state of California are engaged in and why they have the audacity to utter any harassing words, which I will also prosecute for. All right, it's 11:58 a.m. and that is P.O.C. All right, Erica Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. It is still August 23rd. It is currently 12:03 p.m. Just stepping out. I did capture that video at 11:44 a.m. and I demonstrated the ongoing stalking with light conduct. I want to document these third-party license plates: 8LHK874, LOLLIFE 7H 85159. 7U85159. Yeah. And the same African American male, I took a picture of him, the one that was stalking, sitting in his vehicle as I was standing on the south side of the Starbucks while the state's fake son was in direct alignment, just as he was parked in alignment. This is not a coincidence, all right? This is how third parties engage in what it's demonic, all right? And it is, when I say it is specifically tailored, everything that they're doing is deliberate. You literally see the fake son over his vehicle. He is specifically parked in alignment to me while I am facing the bar waiting for my drinks and my food that I ordered. He is stalking, and that's exactly what I said in the video. And that's not just a random calling out of, you're looking at very precise conduct, very deliberate conduct. This same third party is the African American male in 8SQG155. He is pacing. That's what I took a picture of. And I just described and I just showed you in video. The state's fake son is remaining over the entrance as I exit. It's remaining over the same location. Since 8 o'clock this morning, I've been here. It's now after 12 p.m. And this is the state's fake son. By the way, the state's fake son is supposed to remain here, okay? Because I didn't leave yesterday until 1, and that's when until after 1. I'm sorry, and that's when the state's fake son was over was seen in its zenith over my head, over the edge of the entrance of the library. Remember that, okay? The state cannot be consistent with its fake son because, first of all, it's fake, and second of all, it's stalking with a fake son. So I am by necessity the leader. The state is following me. All the state can do is engage in creating quote unquote cloudy skies. But that does not work because that in and of itself is a pattern. It's called criminal obstruction of justice while you're aware that you're being documented. And in addition to that, understand you're talking about a psychopath stalker. They don't do that for very long because they are literally stalking with light, and the light appears. Even when it's quote unquote cloudy, the state is aiming light, different colored light, more quote unquote subtle colored directed light, if you will. Okay. Once you are aware of the state's pattern, you are able to recognize what the state is doing and what it's doing all the time. You're recognizing what you're looking at. That's all you're doing because you're looking right at it. All right. So, and that's how demonic activity works, by the way. So with regard to the state's fake son, here documented, you're talking about around 8 o'clock in the morning, and it is 12 o'clock, and the state's fake son is over the same building. And you have what is the state engaging in setting over this building, acting like that was so much the sun over Starbucks that it was aiming light onto the ceiling through the drive-thru. That's how, I mean, that must be the sun, right? No, but that was the presence of the fake sun. All right, while they're stalking with audible activity, I already got their license plate. So it is currently at 12:06 p.m. The state's fake son is supposed to already be over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, by the way. Documented presence, like I've already covered all of these grounds already. And so you are looking at what is not just the presence of the fake son over an address. It is not just present there. And that in and of itself is impossible. How are you directly above Mercy House at 435 South Bondview? Remaining since 7 o'clock in the morning, documented presence, okay? And then at the same time, when I am across where I'm at, the library at the same time, you're directly over the library as well? I don't think so. The sun is not, the actual sun is not only not over Mercy House or the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, nor does it have to be in order for it to be daytime. All of this stuff is not, it's not intelligent at all right? This presupposes that the targeted individual is very ignorant, okay? And actually the perpetrator is ignorant and unprepared, woefully unprepared. There goes 8LHK874. They're a sex offender. They're engaging in terrorism. The state is flying across Euclid Avenue in the blue and white helicopter, and I can hear it, which is impossible audible activity from where I'm standing. The state is intentionally amplifying the sound of helicopter as it is visually crossing path under the fake sun while those third-party group stalkers are getting in their car crossing path monitoring, all right? That's what they're all engaging in. I'm using them as an example. They're right in front of my face. They're monitoring. That's what they're all engaging in. That's how demons act, by the way. So anyway, that was helicopter activity at 12:08 p.m. Understand the state stalking an aircraft is the exact same indication of demon possession, of stalking by the state, of stalking by the people.
All right, what do we have? We typically have this duality of stalking by plane and helicopter and a fake sun and directed light. All right, this is the pattern. Okay, so like I said, excuse me, state's fake sun remaining over 507 Euclid Avenue, and they are prominent in their demonic posture, if you will, engaging in all manner. I mean, you're talking about they're into the vibration, they're into the pacing back and forth like demon-possessed psychopath. That's exactly what they're doing in there, and that is exactly what they're doing with noise, making all sorts of noise while they know what I'm doing on my phone. I mean, everything that I have documented and observed about the demonic behavioral pattern, which serves the criminal purpose of monitoring with communication devices, that's what they're doing inside of 507 Euclid Avenue. These are psychopaths that are merely in the trade of being baristas, all right? And third-party group stalkers are literally just sitting in there maintaining presence. And you also know this because the fake sun has remained over the same sidewalk for over 4 hours, okay? While you've got a carnival of lights on the inside of the venue. All right, that's the prosecution of Starbucks. I have already thoroughly documented them. You're seeing what is nothing but another venue, okay? It's nothing but another venue. More names that I'm taking down. But I want to speak to what is Starbucks itself. The people of the state of California represent Starbucks. The people of the state of California are the ones that are engaging in this demonic activity, which is going to throw dirt all over the brand of Starbucks as it's engaging in terrorism, because that's exactly what that brand is going to be associated and known for. And that's how you prosecute, and that's how you identify the people of the state that cannot hide behind any brand, any company name. That name and that brand will be fully identified as well. So it is August 23rd. It's currently 12:10 p.m. State's fake sun is directly over my head as I'm standing in front of the entrance of the Starbucks at 507 Euclid Avenue in Ontario. Psychopaths on the security cameras inside of the venue are pacing back and forth at the entrance, all right? Sitting there looking like they're studying so hard for law on their laptops, and they're stalking. All right, and ill-equipped to practice law. They're criminals. It is currently 12:10 p.m. and that is P.O.C. All right, monitoring with the state 7PUX 414, GD978, that's a handicap plate, 8BZE 313, 7BQT 955, BE65N37, that's a paper plate, 7PLN 458, 8DWM 034. All right, so you're looking at, as far as activity goes, you're talking about City of Ontario. Oh, and I'm speaking to what I just captured in video. City of Ontario engaging in what is audible activity. Understand this is a kidnapper engaging in ongoing stalking and terrorism under the fake sun. You literally saw almost all of them together at the same time. They immediately followed with the sirens, but what you have is the state's fake sun moving with me over me from the sidewalk at the entrance of the entrance of the Starbucks, 6YGE877, and City of Ontario light activity and amplified audible activity of that truck. Fake sun over my head, and you have the African American male. He comes out patrolling again. All right, he's got a mean demon on him. 6VEN790, 8XNR368, 8RDZ903, and you have what is the ongoing creation of activity while they are surrounding in the drive-thru. Inside, like I said, they're patrolling inside of the restaurant, especially while I was recording my video. This is also, not only is this engagement in the elements, it's hostility. 7CMW651. This is how demons behave. 7DKC227. 41746H1. 8LGV604. 7VAJ723. 8JYJ333. 8WDT286. And so then after City of Ontario is creating light and audible activity, AMR immediately follows, okay? That's audible activity and crossing path. And then you have the stream of minions and traffic that patrol as the state is creating that light activity, while the state's fake sun is now gone from above 507 Euclid Avenue, where it was remained since 8 in the morning since I arrived, no longer over 507 Euclid Avenue. 5WSG609, 8CXW142, 5AHM508, excuse me. 8GLK 933. And let me also speak to what's ongoing. You have a glorious Cochina where I'm standing right now, 4HSD029, not playing any music. Guess what AMR provided? Amplified audible activity while they're still sitting outside in relevant position under the fake sun that's in the same location that I captured it after 1 p.m. yesterday when I walked from the same location, which is 507 Euclid Avenue, Starbucks, and what is the to the library, where there is no sun in that location, but it will be over the entrance as I arrive. 8RYZ 556, I believe, 3MCX 757. And so that was AMR. You saw the group stalker that was sitting in the white Suburban. That's what I'm focused on, the third parties that are monitoring to that ongoing activity. All right, the City of Ontario, that is a state actor. That is the people, all right? They happen to be in the function of the state as they're driving around municipality vehicles, trucks and dumpster trucks while they're stalking, all right? They represent the state. They also represent the state engaging in kidnapping. And so you have what is a kidnapper, a documented kidnapper, engaging and arriving just to monitor and harass and terrorize. That's going to go to that goes to prosecution. Just document that 8HNC 933 is going to pay for that. Okay, they're going to pay for their one entity. 8LNV 808. 6BFS 045. 7BCT 364. 7WKK 586, 8WHH 118. 6BFL 827, 8RWA 874, 8RAD 265, 6TFD 754. That demonstration of demon possession and criminal activity while they're monitoring together, that was the municipality. You're talking about big picture, that was a municipality acting with the people of the state or in their ordinary private positions, acting in concert with Starbucks. That's what that was, what you were looking at. Starbucks acting with the City of Ontario, acting with group stalkers that are just at the venue maintaining presence, okay? Engaging in the psychopathic pattern of conduct with them together. That's what that was, and that is an excellent picture of the brand of Starbucks, and that's what I was focused on. 8MTZ391, 8LQE787, 92783Y2, 60588W1, 6RVL846, 8JXC986, 4MGA065. It is currently, like I said, it's after 12 p.m. It is now 12:23 p.m. 8UWY324, T852CO, 8HDJ 436, 07653K2. So let me show you what these minions are doing under the fake sun. They're called, this is pacing. While they're moving under the light source, all of these demon-possessed stalkers are creating light activity. All right, in addition to the light activity that the state is creating the state is aiming directed light all the time, even under the fake sun, all right? And so you have what is, all righty. I did just document the ongoing presence of the state's fake sun over my head as I leave the same venue, going to the same venue at a different time, and also speaking to what is the comparison of where I've already been and what I've already documented. Not that I have not already established this, but I am documenting the state, all right? I went to the state facilitating venue of West Valley, again, being kidnapped. I went to the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Courthouse, located at 8303 Haven Avenue, where the state's fake sun, by the way, is present, remaining over that courthouse, remaining over the basement where the cells are in the basement of the court. The state's fake sun remained over that driveway that leads down to the basement all day while I was locked in a cell all day long with my body chained up for the duration of an entire day. All right, as I am driven to that jail, to the court, the state's fake sun, I am looking through the metal mesh of the bus, or I'm looking through the window of the van, whichever one they're driving me in. They drove me in both, and the state's fake sun is over that venue. And in the evening, when I leave, when I am driven back to West Valley, the state's fake sun is over the same exact driveway from the basement. As we drive in, the state's fake sun is right there over me. As we drive out, the state's fake sun is right there over me. And that is for the duration of the day. That is the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. That is the West Valley Detention Center. That is the state actors the Rancho Cucamonga Police, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the officers of the court at that state facilitating venue of Rancho Cucamonga Courthouse, monitoring and kidnapping together. All right? And the state's fake son was not over 507 Euclid Avenue. It was over the Rancho Cucamonga Courthouse, because that's where I was at. And I personally witnessed this. And by the way, like I stated, this is written in my documentation as I remain kidnapped. But not only that, where the state is engaging in kidnapping, like I said, direct testimony shall be sufficient. And that's based on the state's tendency to kidnap and to maintain possession over your documentation while it seeks to obstruct justice. Okay? So you have what is the documented presence nonetheless. Like I said, I've already established my credibility. When I say that the fake son, because that's what it is, that's impossible, that's not the son. The fake son is over my head. You know exactly what I mean, because I have shown in hundreds of videos that that's exactly the case. All right, when I say that the state is stalking by helicopter, you know that's exactly what I mean, because I've shown in hundreds of videos that is exactly the case. You do not have a coincidence perpetually occurring. That's called a pattern of stalking, 6LUN791. All right, it is the ongoing occurrence of that pattern of conduct while the state engaged in kidnapping by entity, kidnapped by the Ontario Police Department, kidnapped by the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and kidnapped by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. License plate 5UKP914. It's 12:30 p.m. and I want to show you the absence of any sun over the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, contrary to what is the presence of what is concentrated directed light inside of that library, such that it's supposed to be the supposition, you're supposing that that's the sun that's over the library that's causing this concentrated light. Even if the sun was over, by the way, the sun is not some hovering. The sun is not a low-hanging hovering light source like this that's over my head. That's not the sun. All right, it looks like a gigantic blob of light. It doesn't even look like the sun. Okay, there are so many ways that you can just pick this apart. All right, so you have what is the impossibility of light, that concentrated light that's streaming down that walkway of the staircase, and it's also been documented on the face of the elevator. The state engaged in alternatively before aiming directed light inside of the entrance of that library underneath the shaded walkway. Okay, so now they're using what is a ceiling window or whatever you want to call it, and aiming light. That does not make it realistic. And by the way, that is not going to occur even if the sun was actually over the library, physically over the library. And so the state's fake sun is not even physically over the library. We have documented presence of directed light inside of that venue right now, while it has remained over what is 507 Euclid Avenue, aiming impossible light activity over there, okay? And this is just isolating it to that. I just want to show, again, same location, different time of the day. All right, and I'll go back to August 17th. Where was I at this time? The state's fake sun was not over C Street and Euclid Avenue. I know that much. State's fake sun wasn't over the library because I didn't go there that day. The state's fake sun was over right now at the TAD office. The San Bernardino Human Services Department. Hinkles and McCoy is monitoring 15725Z1. And you have them engaged in kidnapping. They were acting with JB Hunt. They were acting with City of Ontario. They were acting with the Ontario Police Department when I was kidnapped, monitoring under the fake sun while I was kidnapped pursuant to a fake warrant in a fake case. So like I said, the absence of any light source over that, and I just want to show what is, again, I'm just speaking to what is consistent documentation with consistent stalking with a light source that is impossible to actually be the sun, all right? And consistent stalking by the state, all right? You already know that that's a psychopath. Being over 1647 Hope Boulevard is impossible to coexist with being directly over my head. And you saw it as I stepped out of the entrance. Where was that state's fake sun? Right over my head as I stepped outside. And you saw that directed light on the ceiling inside of that 1647 office where they were engaging in harassment. You know why they're sounding sirens? Because I'm documenting the hell out of them. That's why. Plane and ambulance. That's P.O.C. That's P.O.C. Plane flying over my head under the fake sun, AMR patrolling, driving now the opposite direction. They're psychopaths. 7YDN829. Because they are very, very scared of the documentation that they know exists, all right? So they're just listening, engaging in patrolling, wanting to divert my attention. Let me get these psychopaths monitoring with it. 5A85E13. All right, that's Securitas. I saw his company brand on him. 4BQX881 8MSR066. So like I said, at 1647, the county office, where they were engaging in that ongoing pattern of theft of an entitlement that they owe me, all right, because they stole my entitlement in 2020 again. And I'm sorry, in 2020 before, and then they stole it again this year. And as I'm there addressing it and documenting them at the same time, the state's fake son is over their venue. All right, this is speaking to the intent of their conduct. And you have what is the state's fake sun in addition to the directed light that I also documented inside, while light is on the ceiling and their shadows are appearing all over the place, while third-party group stalkers just like these are entering and exiting, while the state is amplifying plane activity, right? All right, and that is not due to the Ontario airport. As you see, everywhere I go, the state is stalking with a plane. The Ontario airport is no form, okay? So what you have is the state's fake sun over the Hope Boulevard as I am inside of the TAD office. And which direction am I facing when I am on Hope Boulevard capturing that fake sun? I'm facing south. Right now, I am on Euclid Avenue and I'm facing east. There is no sun. There is no sun over that building. By the way, documented presence on the side of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, where I have remained for a duration of the day, documented conduct where the state engages in keeping its fake sun over me, next to me all day long, literally in between the 280 North Lemon Apartments and the Senior Center Apartments. Which direction am I facing when I'm capturing that on video? I'm facing south. All right, I'm facing south. I'm not facing what would be west in order to get the fake sun right here. No, 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 no. I'm facing south. All right, and so I'm speaking to what is the impossibility, and with regard to my video.